Yeah.
There's no downside.
There has to be something, you know, like at the end of the year you have to sleep with the
They
king.
can do that because there's like millions upon millions more people who are employing their service, so they make so much more money, so they can just do shit like that.
Fair enough. Are you ready to go, sir?
Yeah.
You want to do the intro? Because last week you gave me shit about how, you know, I always do the intro, so, you know, it's a smash cast.
I don't remember what episode it is, though. That's
Uh-huh.
the problem. Yeah, but if you gave me some warning, I would have done some research.
It's 207.
It's 207.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the GeekVerse podcast. That's right, this is episode 207. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today. There is all sorts of comic book news. We got some fun Smash Bros. Related stuff between the Direct, a little bit of Evo action that happened last weekend. But, you know, first, your hosts. I am the Adam Hartcaster, Dylan Muss, and joined by...
I'm the Oscar Mayer Wiener, Travis Snell.
Cool.
For the video people, if you're wondering why, to be honest,
we're being kept captive.
Right? Well, it almost looks like, because it's just you and I, it looks like we had some big dispute with GeekVerse and we separated and there's only two of us left and we're in a dingy set.
We took the camera.
Yeah, this is my basement because in Kelowna right now it is 40 degrees. I'm not sure what it's at the other way around.
In Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
I think it's like, that's probably about 97.
It's fucking hot here, so that's why we were down here in
That's
this the Jigsaw basement. So yeah, you know what? It's our podcast. It's only us two. Wait, I guess I was gonna do something controversial. I'm gonna. But what was I gonna say?
I know what you're on.
Some cheap plugs. You can go. Last week, thank you very much for tuning in to that episode. We're going to talk about James Gunn again today, but last week...
We'll make it quick.
We will, but last week it was our biggest episode since Solo, actually. So the people want to hear it, you know. So we're going to talk about it a little bit today.
That's what we got to start doing, is talk about
James
controversial people, you know, claiming shitty things against actors and directors and stuff.
No wonder why those Hunka guys get so big numbers when they come back, you know. Yeah, we got to start these clickbait things.
But I mean, really, I don't. That's not what we're.
No, and if you go back, and even today, we talk about, like, it was a good discussion. It wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it's important stuff because it actually has a very. It really affects the landscape of the MCU, which is, you know, probably our main topic on this podcast.
Yep.
So.
Big dick sucker. I should have done that. 2-year anniversary meeting called the Marvel Dick Sucker. But what I was saying is tomorrow, this weekend, you got not one, not two, but 3 podcasts. You got this one happening right now.
Ooh.
Tomorrow you have a review of the Meg.
Oh.
Me and Taylor have seen that in fucking 9:40. I'm so pissed.
I'm picturing that gif of Steve Mahoney. What's his name? The WWE guy?
Vince McMahon!
Vince.
Where did Steve Mahoney
I don't know, but you know what I was talking about. Where he like does one wish and then he like wishes back again, like falls out of his chair.
Yeah, so we have the Meg. We're seeing it at 9:40 because I thought we'd be seeing the Slenderman Thursday.
Tonight
so I thought, yeah.
Fucking yikes.
Well, I thought we'd...
I am not. That's just Taylor
Yeah.
Travis.
Oh, I thought we'd be seeing Slenderman, so like, do Slenderman and then that.
Right.
But then, no, we didn't get to Friday, so that's the spoiler. On our 3rd podcast, we will be doing a Slenderman review. So you got a newscast today, you got 2 reviews tomorrow. Check it out, subscribe, do all that goodness. So yeah, like I said, it's our podcast. We can do what we want. Another plug, I almost forgot. Go to Patreon. By the time tomorrow, there'll be 3 Star Wars Clone Wars retrospectives at the $1 level. I'm giving the first 3 all for $1, so you can jump in and see what we're all about. Let's change up. Let's do video games first because I know you're slobbering. You want to talk about the Smash details.
I have saliva dripping out of every orifice possible.
Yikes! Even your toes?
I don't know. I have socks on, so I can't quite tell.
Yeah. So let's talk about. We'll do video game news, but let's talk about Smash because I know that's probably there's more news that dropped, but that was the main reason why we're doing a newscast because you had to get your grubby hands on some casts and talk about Smash.
I mean, it's pretty. If you think about it, it's pretty crazy what they've done with these. Like they had one direct, they have this one. Both of them are just a half an hour long of just like very quick pace announcing new stuff for the entire half an hour, and it's a lot of really good stuff. So
and I would assume
it's just amazing that they can do that.
I would assume there's still one more, which we'll talk about later, but they kind of leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger.
I think they're probably gonna have at least one more direct, probably 2.
You think 2?
That's my guess.
Do you think it's...
Actually, because the first one was at E3, right?
No, it was its own thing.
But it was close. It was around E3 time, right?
Yeah,
that was E3 week. I thought they did that.
Oh wait, no, E3. Yeah, right. E3. Oh, that's what it was.
Because Nintendo's
the whole last 20 minutes or half an hour was just Smash. That's what it was. I think the first 10 minutes was like, oh, Animal Crossing on 3DS, like that type of stuff. So that
So really, if you think about it, that's a month really away. When was E3? That was June actually.
June, not 1 month.
They don't do that in July.
One every 2 months.
But still, it comes out in December, so
I could see
September,
one
October,
full
November.
Smash one, and then another Nintendo one with that attached to being like, hey, it's coming out, and maybe an announcement of some special controller bundles. Because I'm really hoping we get a Switch bundle with Smash. Because if we
I saw a couple of things like that online, but I don't know if that was like a Switch that has the Smash like designs on it and stuff.
They're from Taylor, and when you get those links from Taylor, you never know.
You
never know.
I've seen more of that.
Okay.
Sprouting up around the net. So let's hop right into it. So as we said, Nintendo, or rather Sakurai, throwing out another Direct. And as tradition, what we did with the last one, just instead of going in order, we're just going to talk about the most hyped thing first, which for me is one of the character reveals. I'm going to set it up first. So I've played Smash Bros. Forever. N64. We talked about in the last newscast. We did like our favorite consoles. N64 is one of them. A few games on there. Smash 64 played endlessly. Another one was Donkey Kong 64. And when Melee came out, I didn't have it right away, but when I got it, like ever since then, my mind has just been like, going back and forth off every wall, thinking about like the next Smash game, what they're gonna do, what kind of characters. The characters are the most fun thing. So what characters are they gonna add? And since Melee, there's always been two characters I wanted, and that's being Ridley, which we got at the last Direct, and King K. Rool, which they confirmed in this Direct. I've always wanted these two characters. One, because ever since gaming as a small child, always just been really cool, badass characters. I think Smash has always lacked villains, so they're both villains. They fit perfectly. I think Donkey Kong and Metroid series have really lacked representation in the Smash games. Metroid you can't blame because there's not like most of the characters in the game are just fucking massive. But Donkey Kong, it's always boggled me that they still only have two characters. So King K. Rool getting confirmed. I am so incredibly stoked for this game because I have my two most wanted characters of all time, and that's just the start of it. Like there's still so much more content in these games. So I loved the cinematic they had for him was like Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong just chilling in their little cabin that you start in Donkey Kong 64, and they look out the window and then they do like this little DDD troll. Which fun fact is, Sakurai did like the mocap and like the voice. I don't know if he does the mocap, but he does like the voice for DDD. So I just picture him like laughing at the fans as he's trolling them with all this stuff. But then King K. Rool is announced, and he's pretty much like what I and other people have like thought what he would be in this game. Like obviously what he looks like in the size, but also him having the blunderbuss and having the jetpack as his up B. People have always been like, this would be his moveset. And it's funny that too, like I don't think anyone really predicted that his stomach would be like a counterattack like it is.
No, that's
but
cool.
At least those two moves, it's funny how that's kind of what people have been looking forward to the whole time. But and then his final Smash being like the Donkey Kong 64, like his like ship versus the Donkey Kong Island, just giving me big nostalgia vibes. And kind of has to, because he hasn't been in a game since then, I don't think. He's not really a big character, but he's just always been big requested because he's big and goofy and colorful, and I think a lot of people have that Donkey Kong 64 nostalgia. So
he's Nintendo's Red Skull. He appeared a long time ago. He kept wondering when he was going to pop back up, and here he is. I will say a quick thing until those Final Smash. I'm still not digging those Final Smashes. I did like those,
like the ones that cut to a separate.
And it's just like looks like they're going to die right away. I did like that they said that they have that meter of Final Smash that apparently is a little weak, but when they said it's a little weaker and they showed the one that went with it, he like killed everyone on the map. So I was kind of like, I don't know if that was one, but that's really cool. I really liked the DD stuff was fun, but I liked how they started off with showing all the heroes with their villains. And it was very comic booky of like they're showing Mario and Bowser, and they're showing Link and Ganondorf, and then they're showing Samus and Ridley, and then obviously right when the DDD thing was fun, but I didn't think it was a troll. I'm like, this is just a fun thing. I knew it was coming.
No, I knew at that point that would just be cruel.
Yeah, I was surprised about the amount of characters we got, because what did he said at the first Direct or whatever at E3 that don't expect too many, and I was honestly expecting 2 to 4, because we got Ridley last time, and now we have 5. Well, are we counting the Echo Fighters as new fighters? What's the official Smash nerd?
So it's hard for me to say, because if you look if you look at a game like the clone characters, or what they were called clone, what we call them clones now, they're called Echo Fighters, have a technical name. But in the past, they've had like varying levels of like how different they feel.
Yeah.
And so, for example, like Fox and Falco and Melee are like completely different characters, even though they share the same moveset, but they play completely differently. I would say the same for Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
Ganondorf, really, I mean, he's kind of separated a bit now, but he still is a Captain Falcon clone, really. Pichu like feels very different than Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but then you have like Link and Dark Link.
Well, Dark Link doesn't exist.
I forgot about that. For some reason I thought he was a clone, but he's just a skin.
But
right?
you're close. Dark Pit and Pit feel almost exactly identical. Lucina plays a bit differently, and I'm biased. I like Lucina. I'm glad they put her in the game, but she does feel like suspiciously close to Marth, even, especially because we already have Roy, who's already like one of the clones. So it's hard for me to say like how much these are considered new characters.
Dark Samus literally just looks like Dark Link. You know?
I'm a big fan of Dark Samus.
I'm not saying don't be a big fan. I'm not saying they shouldn't put it in there, but I think that's gonna be one that's almost like a carbon copy. Like all the moves they show Dark Samus doing
it's hard to
look
say.
identical
I mean,
to Samus.
It depends what they do, because what they do with Mario, Dr. Mario, is like it changes Fireball to a pill, so it's still projectile, but it acts quite differently, and it's fun. And Samus, they can easily do that. Like you get a lot of different power ups throughout the Metroid games, and they could change all of her special moves if they want to. I'm not sure how much they're gonna put into that, but so I guess for anyone who didn't watch the Direct, they announced K Rool at the end of the Direct. We talked about that first.
Smart.
They also announced two new Echo Fighters, that being Chrom from Fire Emblem, and Dark Samus, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And then Simon Belmont from Castlevania, and Richter, them being Echo Fighters of each other, also from Castlevania.
Which I heard rumored quite a bit before the Direct.
I'm not sure if that was that's been rumored for a long time, at least Simon.
Because those came out, I listened to podcasts and everybody was talking about like it was almost fact. So that didn't take me off guard, and I think that's good. I've dabbled in Castlevania, like just dabbled. I don't think I've ever played like a full level of it. It's always been a game someone's been playing in the background, but
they're a difficult game usually.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. The only thing is the character. I don't know who I could equate to. I think this is the closest to Snake that they don't feel like they fit in this game. They will fit, because it's just their aesthetic, right? Even though they look like they have like the animation of them, it's just with Snake, it always kind of took me out in Brawl of like this is cartoony world, and then it's a human guy, and that's what these guys kind of do. I know they're Dracula.
We have more of those now though, between Little Mac and Ryu. And you have like Captain Falcon.
I didn't have Ryu, remember, so I didn't get the downloadable content, so I didn't have that.
Okay.
Little Mac, I kind of say is fine because it's a Nintendo OG character, and he's like very cartoony. The Fire Emblem people they look cartoony always.
Well,
so.
The anime
Yeah. So to me, this is closer to Snake, and I don't know if there's anyone else.
I would agree with you, but I mean, when they showed him, he looked and he fit perfectly in there, like his art style and the way, like his stance and his movement. So, I've only played a little bit of Castlevania myself. I think Castlevania and Metroid are two game series that I really have a lot of respect for because they're really the pioneers. Like, obviously there's a subgenre called Metroidvania, which is just essentially the gameplay that was introduced from those two games. I haven't made it too far myself either, but
there's a Netflix series you could watch.
That is true. Good. I actually do want to get around to it.
I might watch it because I've heard good things about it. So,
this one wasn't a big surprise for me, but I love the way they showed it off, like that intro cinematic of Luigi.
Has to be Luigi, those bastards, you know, like
just going to another mansion to look for to get rid of some ghosts and. Wow, he got bopped big time.
I want that game.
He got his soul ripped out.
I want that Luigi Castlevania.
A level where he's in it,
No, like a whole game. They make a Castlevania game and Luigi's the main guy. It'll never happen.
That would be sweet.
But I saw it and it was like,
hey, maybe that's like some foreshadow to like an actual Luigi's Mansion on Switch.
That's why, you know.
Because I was so happy for Luigi that he got, you know,
the year Luigi.
That was a couple of years ago. Nothing really happened for him. But I was just happy that he was kind of the highlight of this cinematic and then starting out the Direct, because these all the cinematics they've had so far are really well made.
Very good.
They're very similar to what we had in Brawl, but now they're fully HD stacked out with the characters and stuff.
Well, speaking of Luigi's Mansion, I want to talk about some of the settings because obviously King K. Rool for you, big deal. because I have another question about the characters after. But for me, the settings was the coolest thing. Obviously, a big thing that you even brought last cast was just things like now you can have default stock mode, which is pretty nice.
Yeah,
like that's
it's something.
It
that
sounds
kind
like
of
so
crazy.
little, but it's like it's just it's like you always had an itch, and someone had to tickle it. But even so, how do you feel about the stage morphing? Because that's where I was transitioning to Luigi's Mansion. How do you feel about that one stage into another? Because I think that's cool. I don't think like you guys, if you play it hardcore competitively, would use it that much. But I think it's fun like a party setting.
I mean, realistically. A competitive standpoint, I'll probably attend like a few tournaments.
True.
I've entered a few Smash 4 tournaments, but I've never really played Smash 4 for its competitive edge. I've tried it, but it's not Melee. It never will be, and that's totally fine.
But do you think this one could have a bigger edge than all the other Smashes because of how kind of epic it is? It feels like a closing of a chapter, and it's almost like hopefully it plays good, which we've so far heard that it has, but it almost will have that nostalgia of every character, these stages.
Well, it's the same thing. I'll enter some tournaments if I'm going to a Melee tournament and they have it, I'll enter. It's from a competitive standpoint, it's going to be pretty intense because another setting you were mentioning, you can turn stage hazards off, which means there's going to be
love that.
There's going to be a lot of stages that are competitively viable, at least for like how competitive Smash has evolved. And I like and there's that's a lot of characters that have in one game. So playing that competitively where you have to learn all the matchups. In Melee, it's more possible because like kind of half the characters are they're not good enough to really have to worry about. So it's like, okay, that's 12 characters, that's 12 matchups, let's say. That's a lot to learn in of itself. But this game's like over 70 or something. That's a lot of things to learn. Even with Echo, Echo Fighters takes that number down, but it's a lot to learn. So I don't know. I'll watch some tournaments, of course, and I'll attend some. And that's what I love. I feel like Sakurai is really catering to the competitive scene in some senses. He's looked at what people didn't like about Smash 4, and he's made the game a bit faster, added some more advanced mechanics, toggling off stage hazards.
Which I love.
Just a lot of settings, right? All these settings. Picking stage before character is also a really big thing because in competitive play,
pick. Just little stuff like that.
Well, that's true because those are essentially how tournaments work, right? We always pick stage first, and then whenever you lose a game, you pick the next stage.
That's very much like a gentleman's bet or a gentleman's handshake that they add in. I want to say that I was very thrilled that they showed the Mega Man stage because I fucking hate that stage. I like that stage, but for the hazards, it's so annoying, and that's what I like too, is because there's so many stages. When I know, because we play Wii U a lot for Gauntlet, because like I'm never gonna, if we're having anything competitive, we're not gonna put it in Melee and we're not gonna put in Brawl. So for me, there's so many really cool stages that they added last year, especially when you had Pac-Man and Mega Man and all this. But the hazards to me really brought down. And I'm a weapons defender. I love that stuff. I'm nowhere on the hazard side. I am for parts. Like if it's just like if it's just a party and you just let's play, fine. But if it is something competitive or anything like that, even if you're having a one-on-one with somebody, hey, I'd love to play that stage. It looks cool. I like the soundtrack, and obviously soundtrack's huge this time.
The soundtrack is definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
And it's well, that's the thing. If you end up not playing a certain stage because of its hazards, then you're also missing out on the beautiful music of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Smash Bros. This game will probably have like really just the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. How could it not?
You can put it in your backpack and listen to it as you walk.
I did that with the 3DS. That was the thing.
Really?
That was the thing with the Smash 4 3DS, and I mean, I wasn't like walking down the street like holding my 3DS like they would in the commercial, drinking my fucking
basketball game,
Diet Coke. But I mean, I think it's a cool feature. I think Switch is maybe a little too big for that to be like a nice convenience. But hey, that's a fuck ton of music. But
800 songs.
But yeah. Speaking on that, like turning off the hazards, well, it's just nice to have like the option to do it, right?
Yeah.
And there is like certain times, like that Castlevania map with all the like bosses and mini bosses coming
get
up.
Annoying.
It will get annoying, but I mean it's just nice because I really want to try it with those on. I think that'll be a really fun. You could do some like kind of mini game modes with certain settings and stuff. But then you can also just turn it off, and then you can just play the map regularly, and you can have it as Battlefield mode if you want to play it in tournament and use the soundtrack and the atmosphere of it. So.
How's Dracula gonna appear? They're really coy about that. Like he's in the game, but you'll have to find out.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like you have to do a certain series of things in order, because that's what it looks like in what stage is it? The New Dong City, like the Mario Odyssey one. It looks like you have to like when you jump over all the band members, then they start like playing music. So maybe the Dracula one, maybe you'll have to like take out all the mini bosses first. Maybe you'll have to flip some switch or something. I don't know, but it's I don't know. That's a really cool stage, and wow. pretty beautiful.
And then next I want to talk about was I was a big fan of all the battle modes and everything they showed. So obviously like classics back, and that's great. But I like the ones where you had like the squad battles, and I really
that's something we've done in competitive before. Usually we call it crew battles, but it's awesome that it's just like an in-game setting now.
Sakurai's a huge Suicide Squad fan, so it couldn't be it had to be squad battles. But my favorite actually was something I would like to try even with a group of friends. I can't remember the name of it, but the thing where, let's say you start with 4 fighters and they're randomly selected, and you can pick from that crop 4 and it gets eliminated in the next one. And I like that because I'm a person, especially when we play, I'm just Little Mac, that's about it. Only Little Mac, because that's sometimes the only way I can
Snake's back, you'll have 2 characters.
Snake, thank goodness. But I like that as even just a fun thing of, okay, even if I'm versing someone like you, not as Little Mac, but if you get a character you're not the greatest with, like, I don't know how much we play that mode, but I like that mode where I think that is a cool casual mode for me that it's on a trial. So I was a fan of all the modes they were shouting out there.
Yeah,
so.
And it's cool because it doesn't really seem like they're removing other modes to make room for these ones, right?
No targets.
Just more things on top. No targets. I mean, that wasn't in Smash 4. That's.
I know, but you know,
I wonder if that will have an appearance because they took it out of
game?
Smash 4 in favor of like that stupid ping pong or not ping pong.
So bad.
What is that game called? Holy shit!
The game board one they put?
No, what is that? What is that arcade game? The most classic arcade game where you hit the flippers.
Pinball.
That's the word I was looking for. Flippers. My mind could not think of that word. But yeah, it was essentially they turned Target Smash to that. And you know,
I don't think I ever played that mode.
I wasn't a big fan of what Brawl did, where they had only 5 stages of difficulties and each character could do each one.
Yeah.
But I liked that more than I like it more than not having anything. Obviously, we're never gonna have what Melee and Smash 64 did, where each character has their own. I think it would be really amazing if they made like had that able for level editor, and then people could make them and upload them online. I think that would be amazing. That'd be really fun. People could make some really cool stuff where like you have to do a certain series of movements to get to certain targets, and I don't know. That's something I'd really like to see because they haven't talked about the level editor yet. So I'm questioning. I think it will be in the game. I don't know why they remove it, but I hope it kind of gets expanded and maybe we can make some Smash target levels with it.
And then next, as far as a big hot topic in our group chat, what is the blurred green space going on there? Lots of theories, lots of things thrown out. For me, I have no theories. I'm just, obviously I'm hoping for subspace. I don't have much hope for it, but the thing is, I do think they have to deliver somewhat now because they made hey, we'll tell you next time. To me, if it was some smaller mode or something like that, they could have just thrown out now. Maybe they just want to have one more direct and not reveal everything, but then don't even show the menu with the green blur thing because I feel like that gets a lot of people's hopes up, and then there's a chance they could disappoint. So I don't know. I will hold judgment until I see what the announcement is, because if it's something like a new mode that we have no idea, unless a new mode's amazing, if we have no idea, it's like, well, why did you make such a big deal about this? So that's the only pointer have to, hopefully it is some sort of subspace, like even if it's a minor one, but at the same point, I don't want a minor one. I want, if they're going to do it, I want what Brawl had. I want the full decked out story and everything like that. So I'm hoping, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
Yeah, I have a few, there's a few things swaying me in either direction. My first concern, even when this game was first announced, was like, I was surprised because of how soon this game is coming out. It's 5 years after Smash 4 will be when the game comes out, which is, in between Brawl and Smash 4 was about 7 years, in between Melee and Brawl was about 6 or 7 years as well. But then I thought about it more and thinking, okay, well, this game is largely based off Smash 4's engine and gameplay mechanics already. Obviously, they've made a few upgrades and tweaks and just adding new content, but really it seems like that's bought them a lot of development time to work on new things and expand the game. So Subspace 2 is a possibility. I think a couple things maybe against it, or I mean maybe these could even be for it, is they've already shown 3 or 4 like fully fledged cinematics as trailers. Whereas if you think back, those would have been, I mean, Brawl didn't have any trailers like that. It probably had a couple gameplay trailers, but they had like this, I don't know if you remember this, they had like a Smash Dojo website where every day they would just put one new thing on there. So it would be like, oh, here's a new item, and then like every once in a while it'd be like a new character or a new stage or something like that. Anyway, I followed that religiously. Every day I'd wake up before school at like 7 a.m. I'd be like hitting reload to try to find out what the new thing is. But anyway, that's obviously evolved, and they're advertising the game with these cutscenes. But the more I'm thinking about it, so obviously K Rool and Ridley are 2 big Nintendo villains. They're big villains in general. And so one thing in this direct they showed was like one of the assist trophies is like this big dragon from Monster Hunter. And they also showed that that boss on some stage. It's a stage we haven't seen before. It was essentially just like an empty plain with some mountains in the background. One thing I'm questioning is if that was just something they did for the trailer to show it off. But I'm wondering, okay, is that a regular stage? Why haven't they mentioned that stage by name?
Yeah.
And
Subspace had a lot of those.
It reminds me big time of that Rayquaza fight from Smash, from the Subspace Emissary with Fox and Diddy Kong fighting Rayquaza. So I think Subspace is a possibility, but a few things like there's no way they're gonna be able to fit every character.
No, I don't even want that. I'm not looking for them to be like we need every single character playable, have a story arc. Like I do not need that at all.
Yeah, I mean,
especially some of the third Castlevania things like that. Like those ones that obviously they've probably known them for a while, but still maybe if they were working on Subspace before they got official rights to that, it's hard to work that in. So I'm fine if they're not everything.
Yeah, well that's kind of the reason why. I mean, even in Brawl there was a few characters off the top of my head, Toon Link, Jigglypuff, and like Wolf. Those were characters that were added later in development, and therefore they weren't in Subspace at all.
Yeah.
So obviously this time around, you're gonna have to go in with the expectation that obviously a lot less characters would be in the story aspect. But who knows? Maybe those trailers they've shown are from that Subspace.
Yeah.
So maybe the Ridley and King K. Rool entrants. I mean, maybe with a few tweaks or something. But maybe those are entrants, and now they have more villains than they've ever had before. So they really could. Like it's like already set up for success that they could make a story out of this.
Yeah.
Even if obviously the story Brawl obviously there's no characters talking. It's more just cool cinematic areas with like some single player platforming sections. But it was incredibly fun, and I'd love to see that. And I mean, I guess my final case for this being a Subspace 2. I mean, one, I don't think they would tease it like if they're clearly teasing this.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it's just like target test, like I feel like people would be just disappointed. I think it's gonna be something big, something surprising.
A Waluigi mode.
A Waluigi only mode.
Yep.
Where you fight with 28 Waluigis.
We're making up. You can't play as them though.
You can't play as him.
You just fight him.
It's just the assist trophy kicking you and like hitting you with tennis rackets.
Fast.
And what was my last? I had one more thing to say for Subspace. Yeah, so this game really, like Smash Ultimate, I mean I said this for Smash 4 as well, but I feel like this really is Sakurai's last Smash game. I think he's trying to go out with a bang. I think he's trying to make everyone happy. That's why, he's talked about for years and years, Ridley doesn't work, he's too big, he doesn't fit, blah blah blah. But he made it work for this game. K Rool, I think Sakurai, I don't know if he hates Donkey Kong or if he just has a strong bias against it. I think that's why I think there's only ever been 2 Donkey Kong characters. But boom, he's putting K Rool in because the fans want it. I mean, maybe Waluigi's coming because people want it.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I feel like they just look at him and they go, "There's already enough Mario characters, and who really cares about Waluigi and stuff like that." But like, I don't know, and I just feel like they feel like, oh, maybe there's nothing new we can do with them. But it's at the point because now, last time you were like, oh, still King K. Rool. Who now he's gone? Who now is top of the chain for like? Who everyone would want in the Smash community. Because I know Waluigi is kind of a meme,
with your characters like Snake, Pac-Man, Mega Man, Sonic, and now Castlevania, like the door is busted wide open. All right, it's not even Nintendo characters anymore. It could be absolutely anyone. So
we're finally getting James Bond.
Finally getting James Bond. We're getting Goku. Everyone wants Goku, man. That's
probably that rumor.
Honestly, on Twitter, that's probably the one I see the most is people wanting Goku.
I do not want Goku. To me
I don't
would stand out.
Want him either. But
that would to me stand out more than any other character so far, even more than Snake for some reason. I don't know why, but because there's rumors, and I didn't even read the article with the voice actor address them. I'm sure he would just say no, and even if he was in the game, it doesn't even matter. So I hope not. I hope not Goku. That's just a little too weird for me. It's just
that's fair.
Yeah. I guess if it's not Waluigi, I don't know how many more really third party people are getting. Other than Waluigi, I've always wanted either Banjo-Kazooie or I've wanted Crash Bandicoot. And Crash to me, I don't think it's right now, but I think in the future is a possibility because Crash is now on the Switch.
Maybe that DLC character or something.
Well, yeah, and that IP is now allowed to go everywhere. It's not just on PS4 anymore or Sony. So I think in the future you could see it, but I don't think Crash is your Banjo. I don't know what his rights are with Rare and everything like that and how that
I do. That's one of my highest predictions right now is Banjo.
Real for this one.
Yep.
Well, I think
I don't know anything about the rights for any of this stuff. I don't know how any of that works, but I feel like that is a strong possibility.
Big 64 game, 1A.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a strong history. I feel like his
stage.
aesthetic would fit perfectly into this game.
Yeah.
He would fit in with the other characters so well. It'd be like when they put Mega Man in it. You're just like, wow, Mega Man just fits perfectly in this.
Same with Sonic, I feel like all those. I feel like Pac-Man was a little off, but
Pac-Man was
a classic.
He was at first, but then I played him and I was like, man, this is a really well designed character. Like he's really put in here perfectly.
And I think Banjo's stage would be awesome if you got the witch, and I can't remember his name, but the Ooga Booga guy, the big skull guy. Like I don't know what you could do, but there's some really fun stuff you could do.
You do a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And you get the music in there.
Yeah, honeycombs.
My other biggest another big prediction for me is Shadow. Another Sonic character.
I think that'll happen as an Echo Fighter.
I think potentially maybe a little bit more kind of like how as Luigi's evolved, he's in Smash 64 he was essentially a Mario clone. Yeah. But he's gotten more and more every time. I feel like Shadow would be a little bit more pimped out than the rest of the Echo Fighters. I think he would be one that they would have like he'd be like part of one of those big cinematics. Maybe they show him off. Maybe they build him as a villain, and then they throw him in that potential subspace thing as well. But yeah, I think he is likely because, well, a couple reasons. One, after seeing Simon Belmont and Richter, it shows that like, okay, these third parties aren't just a one and done. Like they can have multiple characters in there. And also, when they had that montage of new assist trophies, they showed Knuckles as an assist trophy. Yeah. Shadow was an assist trophy in Smash 4 and I believe in Brawl. They haven't shown him yet. Maybe they're replacing him with Knuckles, and then boom, Shadow gets his entrance as a playable character. So that's he's one of my big possibilities right now. I think we'll also get some Pokemon. I don't know who it would be because I'm not up to date on the current gen. I feel like we will get one. Maybe it'll be a Echo Fighter or some other one. Who knows? Probably another Fire Emblem character. Probably 3 more. Well, I don't think. I think we're getting Chrom, and that's about it. We didn't talk about him, but I obviously I think Fire Emblem, it's one of my favorite series, and there's a lot of different diversity in terms of types of characters, and it kind of bothers me how almost all of them are just sword fighters. In Smash, because it's really just not accurate to like the Fire Emblem games. Like there's so much more in there. But I do like the idea of Chrom because he's got like the Ike moveset. But I'm guessing he's going to be a little bit faster. So he's going to be like kind of in between Marth and Ike. I've always really liked Ike's character design and moves, but he's always been a little sluggish for me. So I feel like I think I'm going to enjoy playing as this character. So we'll see. We'll see how fun he is. I don't think we'll get any more Fire Emblem characters though. Yeah, I'm just because Smash 4 introduced. It brought Roy back. It had Lucina. It had Robin, and it had Corrin. I don't think we'll get any more. Yeah. That's a lot to introduce. It's fine if they're in there. I'm just not a fan of the series, and for me, it just felt like I always go, man, that could be Waluigi, but they're spend time on this. I think for me, it is because, like you pointed out, it just maybe I imagine they play differently, but it is always like, oh, another sword person, cool, like that's great. Yeah. But, so I'm trying to think as far as how many actual characters do you think we'll get though, as far as putting a number on it? Oh man, that I'm going 3. I don't think more than 3 for some reason. I think this was a big one. Like I guess are you excluding DLC? Also, excluding DLC. Yeah. I think we will get DLC for this game. Actually, I'm not 100% certain on that. If it's Sakurai's last game, would you think there? I know. I kind of feel like maybe he just wants to end it. Yeah. But I'll say no to the DLC as far as characters. Maybe a stage. Maybe I don't know more songs. Bring back some more like old stages and stuff. Yeah, I just for some reason don't see characters because unless it's Donna's last game. But if it is, I feel like it's like I've made it, I've done it. Here you go, and it's done. So I don't know why I'm going. I guess if there's no DLC, I would I don't know. 5 to me just seems so high just because I took him at his words, maybe he's just downplaying, but when he said like don't expect too many, so far, and I'm counting the Echo Fighters, that's 6 in total from really the last time, and that to me, if you're including Echoes, that's more than that. That's right, because they added a bunch in the first round. So we have Splatoon, Ridley, Daisy, Chrom, Dark Samus, King K. Rool, Simon, and Richter. So we're up to 8. Okay, already. So take out the Echo Fighters. Take out the Echo Fighters. You got K. Rool. And Simon, Splatoon character, and then Simon. So 4 new character designs.
And I think when we originally did this,
4.
I said we'd get like 5 or lower. So I'm gonna say we get 2 more new characters. I think it's gonna go to 6, unless maybe it is just one big one and whatnot. But I think I'm not counting Echo Fire, so maybe 2 more new ones. I just don't know. Like I said, I think Crash could happen in the future. Banjo, I think, could happen.
I think a couple more possibilities. For some reason,
Captain Toad isn't a really popular one. People throwing out there as being as being a potential, just because also that was really popular.
I don't see a moveset at all.
Yeah.
I think it'd look really weird to have Toad jumping around. I don't think I've ever seen Toad jump other than like in Mario Party when he does like a little tiny hop.
Well, he jumped in my game.
He can't even jump in Captain Toad.
In Mario,
literally, like it's part of the mechanic of the game for the character.
I know, but in like Super Mario, whatever for the game.
I'm not saying he can't jump.
Yeah, they can change it. Come on, they found a way to make Bowser Jr. work. So.
But you also have to make it look good, right? They wouldn't have like Ridley. That's been a big issue, but they made him look good in the game.
He looks good. I'm still definitely worried about his size, and I feel like it's gonna be too much. Anytime I've seen him move,
I think they made.
I think
they definitely stretched the limits of like what are we gonna allow in this game just to make the fans happy on that one.
K Rool's the perfect like plumpness, and I can't wait to see a Bowser v King K Rool like
versus DDD versus Charizard, just like the
take out those two. I just want because of the classic villains, you know. Like I guess K Rool is not that classic because it took this long, but I don't know. Other than the I guess it's just Bowser. I'm trying to think like Ridley's up there, but Ridley I think is in this different frame. So yeah, I'm going 2, and I know it's like 5. I'm going 2. Hoping Waluigi's 1, and I feel like we'll get another third party one.
I think we'll get. I really do feel like Banjo and Shadow are like solid possibilities. I think
we'll get counting Shadow as an Echo Fighter though, or a new fighter.
Echo or like a 1.5 version, something like that.
Shadow I think is a given. Yeah.
I feel like we might get another Legend of Zelda character off the heat of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple possibilities. I think the name's like Impa. It's like another kind of character that's like the same type as Sheik in the games.
Okay.
So I feel like that could be a possible Echo Fighter. And then even like Toon Zelda, Toon Sheik. I don't know if that actually exists. Toon Ganon, something like that. Maybe possibility, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a new character. Give me Skull Kid. That'd be sick. I'd love that.
Kevin Feige.
Wow.
Imagine if he actually was the he whips like the cinematic of someone fighting. He whips his MCU hat and it comes back, and he's just standing there in his suit.
I don't even want to entertain that idea any more than that sentence. So
you'd be mad, but there's a part of you that you'd be dying to play.
What if he has like his final smash? Is he just like deletes third-party characters because he's like he just takes away the rights?
Deletes their tweets.
Deletes the tweets.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know I talked about Sakurai's potential bias against Donkey Kong characters, but I for some reason I'm getting the vibe that we're gonna get one more in the form of an Echo Fighter. I think Dixie as an Echo of Diddy Kong, or I mean
Chunky.
I honestly I thought about that Chunky Kong as like a King K. Rool Echo Fighter where you replace his blunderbuss with I think it's like a coconut RPG that he has from the game. Or even what's his name, Funky Kong, who is like looks exactly like Donkey Kong in terms of size. They could replace his charge punch with like a grenade launcher or something.
Give me Lanky Kong. That's who it's all about.
Give me Lanky Kong. I mean, that's the one I want the most, but he just doesn't fit onto any other character.
No, not at all. Unless he was just a.
And I feel like if we do get another Donkey Kong character, it would be a Echo Fighter. So those are my 3 possibilities for more Donkey Kong characters.
I think you have a good call there too, because Tropical Freeze was just republished for the Switch as well, and that was a game that did well, and I can see them dipping their toes in that world. And they should put more DK characters because Mario has so many.
I think all those main series, I want there to be 4 characters, because 4 players is how many people obviously we're up to 8 now, but 4 characters in Smash Bros. Game on that stage, like one of their stages with all their items on. It's like something I did as a kid for hours. I would just play like only Zelda characters with all the Zelda items on Hyrule Temple. Did the same with Mario, and I'd love for all those big series to have 4 characters. So I'm stoked that Metroid. That's why I'm really glad Dark Samus is in it, because now it's 4 characters from Metroid game. That's why I really want more Donkey Kong characters, so we can have 4 Donkey Kong characters. And that's another character prediction I have is Bandana D, who's a Kirby character. He's kind of like the 4th biggest Kirby character after Meta Knight and DDD. He kind of looks like Kirby, He has like a spear and like a bandana, and he does some cool tricks.
yeah.
He's a playable character in various games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he. I think I would like to see a unique moveset, because you could like stitch him onto Meta Knight or Kirby, but he just doesn't. I wouldn't picture him having that fighting style. I've always also wanted like a spear character in Smash game because we just don't have any.
Tarzan?
That's why I really want a frame. Throwback to Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. He's one of the main characters who
At least it's not a
has
sword.
a 6 spear, and like I don't know, I just always wanted him in there. But yeah, I think Bandana D, and I would really like that because then once again I'd give 4 Kirby characters, and I mean that's a possibility because Sakurai made some Kirby games back in the day before he was busy 24/7 making Smash. He was working on Earthbound and Kirby, which leads into maybe another Earthbound, maybe an Echo Fighter. A lot of those characters have the same character models. I still haven't played any of the Earthbound games, unfortunately, so I don't have any deep insight on like what kind of character they would add. Let's see, did I write on any other ones? Those are kind of my would like to see / predictions. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have.
What's your official now yes or no on Waluigi happening?
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to talk about this because I don't know if you noticed this, but the internet noticed this. Where in the back, so Sakurai had the camera on him every once in a while.
I have not heard this.
And in the background, there's 2 chairs that are just empty chairs, and like the way he's framed, it's like it's like any good director. Like there's a focus in the background, and it's 2 chairs. It's a purple chair and a yellow chair, and it's like the Waluigi purple. And Waluigi and Wario.
What's the But is it is that just a fun troll? But 2, why would they put?
It could be a fun troll. It could be a fun troll, and Sakurai has been known to troll for the entirety of ever. But look at what he's done so far.
Yeah,
he trolled the K Rool thing. Yes, that was quick because he immediately actually announced him.
Yeah.
But he gave us Ridley. He gave us K Rool. If they are doing this like villain, like subspace, or even just boss rush against like some villain characters, Waluigi's the guy to add.
Oh yeah.
I think it's almost like kind of BM to add Daisy in this game and not add Waluigi.
But
I feel like every Smash game has to have a new Mario character, at least like a new moveset. And Daisy is an Echo Fighter. So honestly, I feel like he's just trying to make everyone happy. And as much as I think a lot of people who actually want Waluigi are trolling, there is still a lot of people that do want Waluigi. I think based on what we saw in this direct and what Sakurai said today and that subtle hint of the purple chair, you might think it seems subtle. Watch the direct again. Like,
okay.
I don't know. Maybe I have like the conspiracy goggles on, the tinfoil hat, but like I don't know, man. I think he's teasing it, and I'm really excited for the cinematic where he's like, and he just comes out of nowhere and he stomps like Wario's face in or something, whatever he does. I don't know.
So
maybe he takes his tennis racket and just hits Daisy out of there, and he's like, I'm the Mario newcomer.
I'm a solid no, just because I don't think this game could be that masterful. If that happens, I think this is pretty much day one for purchase for me. I'm just hoping they do a Switch bundle. That's what I really want, so it can just kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. But here's my 2 things against it is. With the purple and the yellow, what meaning does the yellow have? I would buy it if Wario was also not already in the game, but what meaning does that have? That's the thing to me where it's like, is that another character that's yellow?
Maybe it's like a sign that like
another version of Pikachu?
That's the pairing, right?
It is.
Like they all have their pairings in the Mario game.
It is, but like
so
it feels strange.
There's Mario's chair, and here's Waluigi's chair.
Like yes, it feels just strange for Wario, who's been in the game since when was it Brawl? So
he was supposed to be in Melee, but didn't make it for the short development cycle.
Him and James Bond.
But
maybe it's James. No, for some reason I don't know if I buy.
There's also like the potential joke that like this is Waluigi getting benched again. Because I mean, here's the thing: we have seen him as an assist trophy.
Yeah.
But I think Sakurai is brilliant enough and enough of a troll to show him as an assist trophy and then actually bring him into the game.
So here's my thing about. I go against it was a meme for a while, but now it's become that meme within a meme where I feel like now people are really, they're invested in it. And now it's not just, hey, it's a fun meme. Now it's, hey, we really want him. That's why I don't think it's going to happen, because I think that rush is happening too late. Because I feel like everyone or lots of people wanted him for Brawl, right? Or not Brawl, for just Super Smash or Smash 4.
Just want him in general.
People wanted him, but to me it was just like a smaller outcry, you know? And then to me it was throughout a couple of years when he became a meme, like, oh, he's not included. And then it came around again when they announced this game where it got really heavy and everyone wanted it. And that's why I feel like it was after the last Direct or at E3 when Waluigi was done, and again that the outcry came from, okay, a small group of people want it and there's a bigger meme to it maybe being 50-50.
Yep.
That's where I feel like he may have looked at me like, oh, there's some people, they're having a joke about this, but I don't know. To me, he could have looked at it and been like, oh, they're having a joke about this. I don't need to put a joke in my game. And I just feel like the outrage got a lot bigger too late. And maybe the next game, when it's not a Sakurai, we'll see Waluigi. But I really want it, but I just don't. I don't see it.
One more thing to think about. Think about this. When Sakurai and the boys. Sakurai and the boys. You know, he's got Feige over here. He's got like Johnny Depp or some shit. When they,
where did Johnny Depp come?
No idea. When they sit down at the big boardroom table that's just covered in money, you know, one of the first things they do is probably like, okay, what are we going to add? What characters are we going to add? And every single one of these games has added a significant amount of Mario characters.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get no character because I think Sakurai,
because
Sakurai back in the day was always like, I don't think he would have said like, oh, these are just clones, these are just Echo Fighters. But now they have the name and they're like really pimping them out. They're like, okay, we're gonna put a lot of Echo Fighters in this game. We know they're not like fully new characters, but hey, they are Echo Fighters. You can take them on from character select screen. Daisy is clearly 100% one of those.
Yeah.
There has to be a new Mario character. Who is the new Mario character?
I would feel Toad has a higher chance than Waluigi. I feel Birdo. I'd feel even Boo would have a higher chance. Because I feel like Boo you could do a lot of stuff with. I feel like
a couple things against Toad would be
the jump thing they can fix. Don't bring up the jump thing. They can change it.
Not that, but Toad is one of Peach's moves. Whips out Toad, and that's already been shown. I actually can't. I'm not going to confirm that 100%, but I feel like it has been shown.
But not. She whips out Toad. You know who she doesn't whip out?
Captain Toad.
Captain Toad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're certainly possible like that. It would be the next character, but I think you know a couple things for me is there's got to be a new Mario character. I feel like Waluigi is the most requested by fans, and that's a big thing.
Luigi mentioned.
I want to look back at the Smash ballot. I don't know if they ever actually released that info, but I'm sure Waluigi was up there as one of the most requested. So I think there has to be a new Mario character. I think if they are trying to do this villain thing for the story mode, Waluigi's the perfect guy to add.
Yeah.
I think he's a good chance for a new, unique moveset for a Mario character. I think, you know, Birdo or even maybe Dragoon's possibility as an Echo Fighter for Yoshi. You know, maybe change some special moves or something, but like quite similar to Yoshi.
Because they still added they added Rosalina before they got to Waluigi. Because I'm on Wikipedia, and the only people that they consider main characters that aren't in the game so far are Toad and Waluigi. That'd be my daughter. Yeah, so those are the only two. Professor Gad, that's who from Luigi's Mansion.
People have been talking about Gino. He's like a little wooden ragdoll from Mario RPG. I feel like he's maybe a bit too obscure. I'd love to see him, but he's a lot. I mean, Waluigi's obscure, and this guy's even more obscure than Waluigi.
I feel like now he's becoming not obscure though. You know, because people are.
You've seen it a lot too.
I feel like now you see it on Twitter, Facebook all the time. Now he is like. Even just, I see Waluigi pop up in Star Wars memes and Marvel memes now. Like, he's like spoiler now, right? Well, yeah, like, I feel like he's the Deadpool of Nintendo, where it's because, like, he's been off the side doing his own little thing, and people, like, the fans have made him more popular than he actually is. This guy has only one fucking game.
Yes, but Sakurai's trying to make the fans happy. That's what he's trying to do with this game.
True, but like I said...
I think he's going past what he wants to do with this game, and just trying to make it for the fans, and I fucking love Sakurai.
But that's my argument where I feel like the fans really wanted it and was too late. That's my argument where maybe now you'd be like, oh, too bad, but I feel like the uproar really started this year, where before it was just a joke of like, oh, we'll get to it. Hey, I want it, you know. He's Luigi's arch rival, not Mario and Luigi's arch rival, apparently. But, yeah, so... Anything else you want to add on this? We've been going for 50 minutes. Good thing it's just you and me.
Yeah, I do have more to say, but I can kind of blast through them quickly. Because I made a big old list because
Big old list.
Yeah, let me see.
Bro moment. Connor just sent me his number, you know, the friend making moments.
That is sexy. Wow.
Kenny Mahone right there. Kenny Mahone moment. Well, Dylan's looking. Please no Goku. Just please. I do not want Goku.
I just want to quickly... So Simon and Richter, like, I really like their moveset so far.
They look really
One
cool.
thing, they're bringing back like the Chic Chain, which they took out of Smash 4, which is just a fun troll move, so I'm glad that's back. But he just looks like a really like well-rounded character. He's got some like kind of softer, like kind of get-off moves, close range. He's got various range moves. He's got the whip, which is kind of like, he kind of reminds me of Marth, and then he's like a very spacing-based character, but his moves don't really last. They're kind of just like quick whips.
Can the chain be overpowered by how long it is? I know they're like, oh, don't worry, it's not that powerful, but like it looked like he could hit fucking anybody at times.
It can, but I mean, think about Mega Man, who's the majority of his moves are ranged, and he didn't really feel like that.
Mega Man sucks though.
Mega Man is...
He's my biggest disappointment.
He's very difficult.
So wooden when you play him. He feels old. And I don't know if they were going for that. If they did it phenomenally.
Yeah, he is kind of disappointing.
I'm hoping for some improvement in this game.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Yeah, so we talked about you can stack the Echo Fighter icon onto the other ones to save some space. Over 800 songs in this game. Stamina mode, they're bringing back as like a fully fledged mode, so that'll be fun because you can tweak the settings, whereas in Smash 4, and I feel like in Brawl as well, it was just like, you can set it to 300% and that's it, but it'll be fun to kind of test around that. Final Smashes, they've added like a setting where you can, it's kind of like a traditional fighter where you have like a meter build up and you can use it.
My WWE blood was boiling.
Quite spammy, maybe a bit too much, but I actually agree with you. In a 1v1, that maybe that could work, and I don't know if you can change how often it, like how quickly it charges, but that plus, you know, the tweaked out stamina mode, like you could really have like a very traditional fighter kind of setting, and I think that's kind of just a fun thing.
I still don't mind it because the Final Smash Ball is kind of fucking annoying, to be honest.
It is.
And I'm someone that likes it, but I mean, I like because I can take advantage of it, but still even playing for it, it's like, this is fucking annoying.
It's nice to have some variety with it, right?
Yeah.
Because the Final Smashes, like, a lot of them are really cool animations and a lot of fun to use and nice homage to the characters in the series. So it's just fun to have like another way for them into the game.
What was that mode where it's you start at 300 and you there's fire around the screen? I can't remember. It was in Smash 4, right?
Oh, like the thing they showed in the trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just like the sudden death?
Yeah, it is just called sudden death. Did you like that now the camera zooms in as more and more as the game goes on?
I don't really care. I actually, it makes me curious because before they did it after a while, if no one died, as bomb bombs would falling from the air.
Wow.
Or bombs, whatever they're called. They would start falling from the sky and those would one hit kill you. And I liked that. It was like a very fun intensity thing. So I wonder if they're taking that out because you won't be able to see them anymore. Training mode gets a really cool overhaul where the map is like on a grid, and when you hit someone, it shows like the lines of where they would fly if they're at 100%, where they would fly if they're at whatever 0% at 50. I don't know what the numbers are exactly.
It's cool.
But yeah, and it just shows you like trajectories and stuff. So yeah, really, that's just like a nice thing. It'll be really cool. It'll helpful for competitive scene to see like, you know, just get like more exact measurements and numbers and things like that. So it's a cool change. Some of the items, I wanted to mention the Killing Edge, which is a sword from the Fire Emblem games. It just increases your critical chance. But it's always been like, it just looks super cool and always been a really, I don't know, it's always been like one of my favorite items in the game. So it's cool that it's getting an item. The Death Scythe, which I think is from, I'm guessing it's from Castlevania, it looked like it.
Yeah.
Pretty badass. And then that the staff, which acts as like almost like a sniper rifle, which looks like a lot of fun.
Shout out the items that Dilmos will never play with, you know?
I do play with the items. If I go to a
can't
tournament,
last time I've been to your house and items
with Smash 4 all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I feel like last time me and Taylor logged in, the items were all turned off. I feel like it's and then
maybe
I
if
feel
we're doing like a gauntlet set or something.
I'll suggest like hey.
I mean, when I play Smash 4, I play it like a casual game because
I just love a melee when it's casual, you know, because it's just it's
and that's fine. But I don't play casual melee anymore.
You should with us, you know.
Some Pokemon, they have the Executor with like the incredibly long neck, which I think is just funny. They had Ditto and Abra, which look pretty cool. Some assist trophies. Crystal from the Star Fox games. Claptrap, so another Donkey Kong rep. I love the Animal Crossing guy, and like just gets in his truck and just like runs across the stage. Looks pretty fun. Shovel Knight, I think that's awesome. That Shovel Knight is assist trophy.
Surprised! I thought there was a chance of him being a character, so I think that could happen. I guess that could happen.
I think it's just great for those devs that like he's in the game and he looks pretty awesome.
I think that could happen next time. But I wonder how his hype will sustain whenever we get to the next Smash game.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll upgrade a Shovel Knight too. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Big call. The moon from Majora's Mask is his trophy, which is pretty awesome.
I love that. Majora's Mask, best Zelda game ever made.
It's true. Stages, there is 103 stages confirmed.
Yikes, yeah.
Which is a lot. All of them can play with 8-person Smash, which in Smash 4, I think there was only like 10 or 15.
That you couldn't?
That you could.
Yeah.
And then they added more later, and I guess it was a hardware thing. Like, it just wouldn't run on certain stages, but apparently that's not an issue anymore.
Some of these maps are going to get fucking crowded.
Yeah, I mean...
But I'm down with that.
Not all of them will be good for 8 players.
But I like that you can do it. If you just want to fuck around, hey, let's go on a small stage. Why not?
I'm really
you don't
curious
have to.
on like a map that has a lot going on with 8 ice climbers. Just like, I wonder if that's going to hit the frame rate or if the Switch can handle that.
Wow.
Quite curious.
Spurs and fire.
Some stages. They're bringing back Pokemon Stadium from Melee and Brinstar. Olimar stage from Brawl. From 64, you know, I think we saw them already, but the Pokemon map, Hyrule, Dreamland, DK's map, like all the classics. From the Smash 4, from the 3DS, they're adding Magikarp, which is, you see that catch? From the Earthbound games, there's like that pink cloud map, which is probably my favorite map in 3DS, and I was disappointed that it wasn't in Smash 4. So it's cool that they're bringing that one around. Let's see. That pretty much does it. That pretty much does it for the Direct. It was, I mean, really, really well paced. A lot of stuff in there. I didn't mention everything that was in there, but I mean, that's a testament to say that I didn't even mention everything in there. There's a lot in there. So
December, it's coming. You gotta buy a fucking Switch. So you know, PS4 just come out 2022. You know, I don't need a new PS5. Just you know, I want to buy a Switch, and that's about it. But all those rumors. If I want that Spider-Man PS4, but you know, it's out of the Switch, and
you know.
Any other game news?
Yeah, I wanted to quickly. I mean, still on the Smash topic, but a little bit different. So, Evo was this last weekend. Evo
lots of controversy.
It's considered like the most prestigious fighting game tournament like ever.
It's the Super Bowl, you know.
It's
WrestleMania.
It is, and it is loaded with controversy because
I haven't heard about it. I don't follow shit in the game league. I didn't hear about through him. That's how controversial it was.
Wow.
When have I ever known any of the news you and Tyler brought with esports? Be like, oh, I just sit there like talk, but I at least know what you're talking about this time. So that shows, you know, and it shows it's growing too.
Well, what I was gonna say, I know what you're talking about. What I was gonna say first is, I mean, Evo is always interesting because it is most prestigious, and you know, it was a real fight to get Melee in there in the first place. It was like a huge donation drive that was like over $90,000 in 2013 to get Smash in there, and then since then it had good viewership and entrance, so it's stayed.
Yeah.
The guy, his name's Mr. Wizard. He's like the CEO of whatever Evo tournament series. He said that this is the last year of Melee being in there. We don't really believe him because Melee had like some of the highest viewership and has like some of the highest entrance. Like, he's always had like something against the Smash community.
Oh, so he's just one of those that needs like
he gets like salty at us because
fighting games.
We like demand best of 5s because that's, you know, for a competitive game and like for the most prestigious tournament it should be like the best player wins, but they only have best of 5 when you reach top 4 in the tournament, and it's become pretty commonplace in Melee tournaments where at least top 32 now is best of 5. For a while it was just top 8, but now it's like top 32 if not more. So it's pretty crazy that Evo, which is still like the biggest tournament, is best of 5 only in top 4. So that's kind of one thing where it's always like controversial. Like, yeah, it's always a big win for whoever wins it, but there's always like this disclaimer where it's
asterisk
best of 3s. I mean, there still is like, obviously it's harder to get through a best of 3 bracket in some ways for a top player because there's a lot more chances for upsets, and that makes it exciting too, is you do get to see some upsets. I'm really happy.
You're the best, you just win, right? So
exactly. As a spoiler, Leffen, who's a Swedish player, he won this time. It's his first Evo win.
Is that a spoiler? How long? When did this air?
Last Sunday.
That's not a spoiler anymore.
I don't know. My roommate just watched it today.
Yeah.
People are busy.
Yeah, but once it airs, I think once you got 24 hours, you know, people don't say about the Super Bowl or, you know.
I just mentioned it quickly, and now you're dragging it out.
It's not like a movie where you have to go pay to see it, right? Evo, you can just turn on your computer, right?
Yeah.
So
it's true. Anyway, Leffen won. It was a big. It's kind of like the first time he's won like the big tournament. He's won a lot of like, you know, really prestigious big tournaments before, but this is like, you know, one of the tier 1 tournaments. So finally he got one of those in his books. and I'm really happy for him. It was a really dominant run. It was pretty good. There was all of top 8 was a weird tournament, some strange results, and like one of my favorite players, he was having like a really bad panic attack, and he like couldn't really play. It was kind of disappointing, but it was a lot of fun. Evo's always a lot of fun, even with the controversies in it. And that's during the top 8 is when they announced the Smash Direct. So I thought that was cool that they gave that to Melee. But now to talk about the controversy quickly, that I'm sure is what you were talking about, is the Smash 4 Grand Finals.
Okay.
So yeah, the Smash. I don't really watch. Sometimes I'll tune into a Smash 4 tournament here and there. I haven't really watched recently, but essentially what happened ever since Bayonetta got added to the game, very broken character, incredibly busted, has crazy stupid combos, is way overpowered, and has even gotten a couple nerfs and is still overpowered. So yeah, the balance is not really there, and obviously they're kind of busy doing other stuff, so Bayonetta stays how she is. Anyway, 2 Bayonetta players made it to Grand Finals, and let's just say, so as soon as they pretty much made it there, a lot of people left the venue and left to go do other stuff. People were booing them, and they kind of took it on a little bit, and were kind of joking around there. It was more of like a friendly set, which is not really what you want for Grand Finals,
no.
especially not when this is Smash 4's last Evo. Obviously, it's going to get replaced by Ultimate. Who knows if Melee comes back, but this is definitely Smash 4's last one, so it kind of sucks that it ends on a
sure that Smash Ultimate would be there, but maybe not Melee?
So what he said was there's only going to be one Smash game next year.
Oh, okay.
Well, he said a few things, but one thing he says, there's only going to be one Smash game. Numbers would say it's Ultimate, because obviously a lot of new players are going to be playing it. It's going to have a lot of entrants, and obviously it's going to have the Nintendo money behind it. So they're going to do that. I still think Melee is going to make it, just because it does bring them a lot of money and viewership.
Why not?
But yeah, it was a weird Grand Finals, and I don't know. It's shitty. Obviously, it's kind of lame how it all turned out. It's shitty from like the audience and like the fans who are booing these people who are just like teenagers, like playing a game they love and just getting shit on.
Well, I think that, like, for me as the outsider, I think that's the biggest thing, because we've had this I don't think we've really had this conversation big time on cast, but it's like, what is it going to take for esports to become really big? Like it is big, but you know what I mean, like mainstream, right? Where it could be, I know ESPN's starting to cover, but I mean like more like that, right? Like growing.
Well,
stuff like that.
There's still like a distinction, right, between the professionality and like the size of fighting game esports and like, you know, something like a Dota or a League of Legends or a Counter-Strike. Those are on a much larger scale. Smash is always the odd one out, because Nintendo doesn't really provide a whole lot of funding. A lot of these other fighting games like Street Fighter and stuff, they get a lot of developer support, so a lot of pop bonuses. Whereas Evo, like the Melee players make pretty much nothing. It's like still like it's pretty much just passion.
Well, yeah, and that to me shows like you got to grow that audience, you got to get bigger, and there's people like me, I don't watch it, so for me it's like when you hear about that controversy, something like that doesn't make me want to go watch that, because how I would compare it is to other sports. When I'm saying it is like a Super Bowl or it is like an NBA Finals, you would never ever see that, where you'd never see, if it's the finals of some other sport, people dicking around, just be like, oh, fun time, and I know they kind of mess with the fans. That's what hurts. And when you say, well, it's a couple like little teenagers, that's where I can get that stigma of, even honestly, like feel like myself, like, okay, why would I watch that then if it's gonna end up being like that? Like, I want, if they're trying to make it serious and they're trying to make it be a sport, which I know it is sport, but I mean like to be on that level. It'll never be on like an NFL level, but you know what I mean, to grow it. If they want that, you can't have stuff like that happening, because to me that almost takes away not all the importance, but a little bit of it. Because if they're not taking it seriously, why should I take it seriously?
It's too bad that I'm sure a lot of people are going to have that perspective where they've never watched a Smash tournament, they hear this, and they just use that as an excuse to not watch it.
100%,
when there is so much great Smash Bros out there, and I mean even Smash 4, like if someone was curious, like I couldn't be the one to do it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who could link you to a bunch of amazing grand finals, a bunch of amazing sets. I know I've seen some, because I was at Evo a couple of years ago, and I watched the Smash 4 like all of top 8, and it was a lot of fun. They're really good matches, and I mean Bayonetta wasn't in the game at the time, so it was a different landscape. But yeah, it really does suck, and there's obviously that connection of like people who see that, and then that will like transfer over and mean the same thing for Melee, even though that wasn't the case for Melee. And I mean, yeah, there's been some lame grand finals, sure, and right now we're kind of in an era where the #1 ranked player is kind of one who's disliked by a lot of people because he plays Jigglypuff and he kind of is like arrogant and stuff. But
that's good.
I don't think it.
Man.
Yeah, and I mean he is like he kind of beefs up the villain role. He's kind of annoying sometimes, but
because people in sports do that too. You know, LeBron does that sometimes. Conor
no, I mean it's
McGregor,
good. Like that's one thing Melee doesn't really have is a whole lot of like anti-hero characters, and that's why Leffen started as one, and he's kind of transformed, and he's had like a real story. So
you need personalities in sports.
You do,
even though people, they say they watch for the sports, like people spend most of the time talking about what LeBron does off the court, just as much as they do on. You know,
that's the thing. Like I can't defend Smash 4 whole lot because I'm not really involved in that scene. Like there is a Smash community as a whole, but it is fairly divided. It is actually quite a bit divided. Even Smash 64 and Brawl, like there's a lot of people who play both or people who shout out both, and obviously I talk about Smash 4 is still like, it's just because a lot of people I follow, you know, are talking about it and stuff. But I mean that's the thing, like Melee has so many crazy storylines, and if I wanted to spend a half an hour talking about what all these storylines are for this EVO, because it really was a really big year for the storylines. Obviously EVO is a really important time for that.
But then the problem is when controversy like that happens,
yeah,
the
it sucks because it's not my game that had that controversy, but it still is going to get the negative repercussions some way. I mean, sometimes controversy brings people in to check something out, but this isn't really the kind of controversy that does that because it's like this wasn't fun to watch. People didn't enjoy this, so yeah. I mean, from what I've heard from people who've played Smash Ultimate, it sounds like Bayonetta is a little more chilled out. She's not as OP. She's not as broken. Hopefully, if she or any other character is. The balance team will be on it a little bit more. You can ban them in Brawl. Meta Knight was eventually banned because he was busted. But the thing is, it's a slippery slope because then Ice Climbers became the most broken character, and then they just won everything. I mean, Brawl was quite a bit unbalanced. Melee, while it is unbalanced, it still has a lot of. It evens out at the top, so there's still a lot of characters that can win a tournament. But yeah, Smash 4, that's not the case right now, and. Yeah, it's too bad because I mean even though Smash Ultimate is still like it is very Smash 4 like, it still sucks that Smash 4's legacy as a competitive game, this being its last EVO and one of its last big tournaments really, because almost everyone's going to switch to Smash Ultimate. I feel that's the point of staying in Smash 4. It sucks that this is kind of one of the ways it's going out, but. I mean, either way, like, congratulations to those two players for making it there. Yeah, their character's busted, but that doesn't mean that I can walk off the street, go to EVO, and make grand finals with that character, right? Like, it still takes an incredible amount of skill and practice and hard work. So, yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for them. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have done what they done, but I don't know. Overall, it's just shitty. So it's too bad.
Any other gaming EVO news or whatnot?
Quickly. So this last weekend I was in Boulder, Colorado, and I went to a Melee tournament there, and it was a little bit smaller than what I hear that is normally like because it's summer. A lot of their students play, and a lot of them are gone. But just I don't know if anyone from Colorado listens to this podcast, but yeah, I mean I was chilling in Boulder. It's a beautiful city, amazing place, and the Melee scene there was so kind. Everyone was awesome. Everyone was just having good conversations. I got to play with a bunch of different people. Played in the tournament and it was fun. And then someone I was trying to find a ride home. It was like 10 o'clock. I was like, I don't really want to pay for an Uber. I don't really want to walk. But this guy said, I'll give you a ride home, no problem. And so yeah, everyone was just super kind. So big shout outs to Boulder. I'll definitely be back someday. It's a very beautiful cultural city. A lot of fun hikes and cool people. And yeah, so. Shout outs to Boulder and Boulder, Colorado Melee scene. And that about does it for my gaming stuff today. It was fun. I love having some good gaming news.
How's Boulder spelled?
Boulder?
Yep.
BOULDER.
Not found. So it's not in our top 50, unfortunately.
Boulder?
Yeah.
How about Colorado? Can you do Colorado? Dude, if you can only search city, put Denver, because Denver and Boulder are very, very close to each other. It's only like a 30-40 minute drive.
Denver, Colorado, yep. They're our 17th biggest city as far as our all-time
Really?
on SoundCloud. I don't have all the
Shout outs to
SoundCloud.
you. I'm sure a lot of you have been to Boulder and know of its importance. So go to their tournaments there. They're picking up soon as the school year starts up again, but they still have Melee tournaments, and I'm sure they'll have Smash Ultimate tournaments. They can go to them. A lot of really nice people. So yeah, please go.
Pretty happy London.
And tell them. I don't know my name probably, but tell them Dylan from GeekVerse sent you.
Yeah, I don't know my name. London's in our top 10. That's
Norwegian,
nice, you know. So,
London.
Yeah,
London, like Canada or London?
United Kingdom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
one of
Miami.
my friends lives there, so maybe he's been telling people.
I shout Miami all the time while I live there. No.
How about India? I told some people in India about.
I just exited that screen, so maybe at some point.
I know we have a few, because a couple people have liked a few of our things on Facebook.
Okay, that's where
India
those people
peeps.
come from. So I was wondering. So.
Yeah. Some
Let's
awesome
see.
people I met.
Poon, India is at 20.
Poon.
Poon, yeah.
Poona.
Poon. Is that how it's called? Poon.
Pune. Pune.
Okay. Did you go there?
I didn't, but my cousin has a house there essentially.
Okay, so that was 20. That was higher than Dublin. These are other places that are not Canada, UK, or whatnot. Stockholm in Sweden, Tokyo.
Stockholm.
Yeah.
Big fan of the Swedish. Leffen's
And Melbourne,
Leffen's
Australia.
Swedish. He won Evo. So. And the grand finals was Swedish grand finals. It was Armada versus Leffen. So. Anyway, let's talk about. There's a whole bunch of comic book news.
Well, let's talk about movie and TV news. If you want to tune out, this is your time. If you're the whole
But you
dude thing.
should stay.
Yeah, we got some good. We apparently got some big discussion pieces. So I'm gonna lay it on you. Where do you want to go first? We can start with the Sony Venom Marvel stuff. We start with James Gunn, or we start with the Oscars. I think that's actually just the three.
I say we get James Gunn out of the way because. Anyway, let's just talk about it.
Okay, so James Gunn. So this was literally this week where Batista on Monday said some comments that, hey, I will do the job.
This is not verbatim. This is.
yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
Hey, you know.
He texts me. I text JJ. I said, hey, can you get me Dave's number? I'm the first name basis. No, so Monday he said some comments like, oh, I'm gonna do.
He doesn't look like a Dave when you just say his first name.
No, he looks like Batista, not a Dave.
He looks like a.
Just Batista.
Drax.
Yeah, he Drax Batista. So Monday he says, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do Guardians. I don't really want to though.
Hey,
This was he did say it's pretty nauseating to work for. He didn't say
He
Disney.
did say
he said
nauseating.
them.
That is verbatim.
He said them. So he says that on Monday. Another interview comes out where he says if they don't use James Gunn's script, he will ask for his release. So he can't quit. He's not gonna breach his contract and he won't walk away, but he would ask for his release. So that's a separate issue which we're going to talk about. And then on Wednesday, it came out that they have to, apparently Disney, if they go through this, has to pay James Gunn about $7 to $10 million because they're cutting him from his because
really?
Because the contract separating.
Even though he defaced the
well, I guess
property or
maybe there's not a morality clause in there, right? So if there was, so I don't know.
Really?
And these are coming from Deadline, Variety, big Hollywood Scooper websites, the trusted ones. And then it was also in this same one, so this is Wednesday, it was also in the same one that many other companies are looking at pulling him, that he's very, very sought after, and Warner Brothers obviously is a big one that was shut up, that is interested, and it made it sound like, hey, the second he was done with this, they'd get him. And even in the same report said Marvel would be not opposed to working with him on another film. So that's one point. And then today, apparently Marvel is negotiating with Disney to try and hire James Gunn back.
Yeah.
So that's a lot taken. Let's start with Dave. Let's say this did happen, and let's say there's so many scenarios going on right now, but let's say they didn't use the script. What happens to him? I'll give you three options. Either do they recast, do they kill him off right away? Actually, it's four options. Is he in the movie and he's just pissed off the whole time, or do they just let him go and Drax is gone? Those are your four. So talk about Dave.
I think
he's drawing a line in the sand. He's in the James Gunn camp.
He is, and that's where it just it's hard for me to really draw in on the issue because clearly this is such a personal thing for him.
Yeah.
And I've never even read a James Gunn interview or seen him talk, so I don't really know anything about him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I can't speak on him personally, but okay, I don't think they'll recast him.
Okay.
Because
I agree with you.
Because
Tough.
he's such a distinct character. He has such a distinct look. He has the voice. He really has that character down, and it's different than when you recast. Obviously Hulk, it was a different time in the MCU, but things were less established. It wasn't really a universe yet.
And one film too. Drax has been in Avengers Guardians 4 movies at this point.
4 movies,
so.
yeah. And yeah, obviously this is it's a lot different than when they recast Rhodey as well, because that was. That was once again back in the day, and it was only one movie with one character, and it was kind of like it was a more. I guess it was about the same role as like Drax had in his first movie, but now he's been in a few things. So I don't think a recast is possible. I mean, it's tricky because you would think if you're gonna kill him off, obviously we don't know what's gonna happen in Infinity War Part 2.
Clearly he survives.
That's the time you want to do it, but. Yeah, obviously,
like, unless they reshoot something, clearly he survives if he's coming out of Guardians.
I don't think they're reshooting like based on an actor leaving, right? It's just that's too much money. It's like millions of dollars probably.
100%.
Bring some people back in, just that. So I don't know what is there left.
There's the just letting him go when Drax is gone, or the making him do the film and just be kind of not happy about it the whole time. Because he could be in the entire film, but be like, hey, I don't want to be here. That's what happened with Natalie Portman in Dark World. She wanted out. They didn't let her out, and then she's like, well, and I feel like you can kind of see in that movie she's kind of just checked out.
Yeah, right.
So, and I don't want that. I don't want a checked out guy. I think if the great man, the great Vince McMahon wrestling promoter, he's always said about wrestlers when he's let them go, if they're unhappy, let them be unhappy somewhere else. And I would feel the same thing. It sucks for Disney because Drax is huge. I feel like Drax is up there with Groot, isn't it? Like, I guess Chris Pratt is so big, but Drax is such an established character. He's such a popular character.
Very unique.
So I feel like you wouldn't let him go. To me, if this were to happen, this all play out, they don't use the script, they want to let him go, I feel like you kill Drax first 10, 15 minutes and you make that a big point of the movie. Where, because I don't think, I guess you could say
all the family's been brought together and now one of them's,
Yeah, I guess you could just write him off and hope that maybe in the future you bring him back, but I feel like they would either let him go or they'd kill him off quite early and then figure out. But then, like I said, Natalie Portman, they didn't kill her off, just him and Jane broke up, right? Same thing, Drax could be gone somewhere. It'd be weird in Guardians 3 if he wasn't around, but they could just say, hey, Drax isn't here right now, and then they could leave the door open, right? Because he's a popular character. I don't think you recast at all, because whoever gets recasted is screwed, like, put Jared Leto in there and let him have a go at it,
You might as well.
He get covered in tattoos. He can get Destroyer tattooed on him.
Destroyer, that would be awful. It's a weird issue, and I don't know if, like, obviously it is a very personal thing, but, like, this is a big deal for him to, like, he feels really passionate about this. Because this is a big thing to be soiling your reputation with Disney, and not just Marvel, but obviously that has a much bigger asterisk on it now, because I know Disney in the future, they're making a million.
A whole company.
They're making a million Star Wars movies. I'm sure he'd love to be in a Star Wars movie someday. So.
And he's not the biggest actor. It's not like
Chris Pratt. He's still getting there, right? He's like, he had that role in Blade Runner, which was minor. It doesn't really show off who he is, and I think Drax, like, he's a fairly one-note character for the most part. So I don't know. I think this is a really weird move from him.
He's been like this his whole career. He was like this in wrestling, where he would speak out and like, I don't agree with this, and that's why he left the company as well, because he didn't like. As Thomas Taylor, WWE and wrestling eventually went into a PG sort of audience. He was not a fan of that. He spoke out about that, and I said, "Oh well, Dave, we're going this way." He said, "Well, I don't want to be here." So then he left. So he'll do it, and I feel like because he is one thing. Majority of like it's weird, but it's the culture. Majority of wrestlers are really good with saving money wise, and I think that's because they've been beaten in the head of like your career could end in a second if something goes wrong, right? Broken neck, people die in the ring. So a majority of wrestlers do save up their money. So I think with him, obviously he wants all these more roles, but I don't think he's a guy where if he gets fired, it's like, man, I really need the next role. I think he's pretty smart. Like wrestlers are kind of like that. So I respect him for it.
I feel like he's established enough now that he'll. Maybe after this, following obviously what you were saying about wrestling, but maybe like another franchise wouldn't want to bring him on because he's like, this guy's wild, he might leave.
Yeah.
But I think there's such a possibility for him to land a role, like just a role here or there.
No, I feel like 100% he's gonna have work. Because let's say James Gunn does not go to Disney, I feel like whatever movie James Gunn does next, 100% guaranteed Batista's in that movie, whether it's a small role, supporting role, just because like I feel like he's stuck his neck out for him so much that
he has.
That could be one of your director combos like all time.
This guy left Disney.
And same thing like Michael Rooker is in every single James Gunn movie as well, so he likes to keep his people around. So I could see he'd always have some sort of work. And Batista's also talked about like getting behind the camera and doing stuff, so maybe acting's not a big thing with him. And that's the thing, maybe because, and this is where we can transition to James Gunn, that we did talk about like how other studios would feel about this. It's not really had much of a shelf as far as if you believe like rumor and innuendo that people want him. Warner Brothers is a big one. I will go out on a record. If Warner Brothers gets him, I honestly don't want him to jump in and just go do a DC movie. I'd want him to do something original. I feel like that's the go-to. Like, plug him into Green Lantern and that. I don't want that. Let him do something else. But I wonder if Batista almost gets lumped in that. If people are like, oh, he's sticking his neck up. But at the same time, maybe there's certain people that respect it. Like, hey, he's standing by his friend. And obviously, if they're going to work with James Gunn, there's a chance they work with him. So this whole scenario, the thing that really fucking grinds my gears about these reports, I am going to be outstandingly mad if Marvel does not let him direct Guardians 3, but brings him back for another movie. Whether it's Guardians 4, whether it's another spin-off, to me that seems completely...
That's just nonsense.
Pointless. And when I saw that, I did not understand that. And now that also I forgot to mention, there are rumors now that they're going to use his script. So...
yeah.
Once again, I want to be a fly on the wall. I know this takes time, but I really think they need to
honestly,
figure the situation
this
out.
has been a very, like... It feels like it's been a very fast-moving issue because we've been talking about this stuff like
3 weeks in a row now.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row.
They need to make a decision. They made a decision, but I mean, like, they need to. I know that's something there's lots of work, but they need to find a new director or rehire James Gunn, because the longer this goes, I feel like it hurts Disney more and more because it keeps getting brought up about
getting brought up. Yeah.
Oh, and there's always a new report every day. It's like right when it was dwindling down, the cast put something out, then Batista, and then these reports of like, oh, they're gonna use a script. Oh, Warner Brothers wants him. Oh, maybe because now they're saying Marvel, which is separate from Disney, wants him back. So is that secretly? We did talk about what does Feige feel about all this? Is that Feige somehow like quietly showing his hand? Like, it's not Feige wants him back, but Marvel wants him back. And we've talked about before that big plan. Gunn said that he was going to work with them past Guardians. So I find that interesting that they're I don't know if it's going to result in anything, but they're trying to get him back. So, and then if they don't, is this the first time they get like tension between Disney and Marvel? Like, this whole thing is
it's hard for me to weigh in a whole lot because I feel like, you know, Star Wars and Marvel both kind of have like that mastermind behind it, you could say, right? But Disney still kind of feels like this mysterious presence. Like, who is making these decisions, right? Because obviously
Bob Iger and Alan
I don't think
are the two.
Feige's not the guy who, on a whim, deleted James Gunn, right?
It was technically, if you buy the press release, it's Alan Horn. He's second in command, and then Bob Iger is the guy who runs the entire Disney outlook. Yeah.
So, but I mean, even then, like, such a massive multi-million, billion-dollar company, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people working there. There's a lot of people who are responsible for these decisions, and I'm sure they've had like 100 meetings already on like, what should we do with this? Yeah. And I mean, I've said this from the beginning, like, to fire him day one was crazy, and I was thinking like there's got to be some weird like I have that conspiracy hat on lately, but like there's got to be something more to it. Why would they get rid of him like on a whim like that? And then we talked about, kind of jokingly but maybe semi-serious, like this grand scheme of, okay, fire him day one, and we get the cast, like, put out this memo.
Sympathy, Batista, you're
gonna Batista really go in there. Really builds up Batista as a character.
He's the wrestler,
and
so
then we bring him back. We say James Gunn's a redemption story. He's a changed man. We've talked with him. Look at this beautiful this he has like a release, James Gunn official release that's been looked over by like 3 million people working at Disney. Lawyers. Each one is like edited, put in like a little asterisk here, put in
add this, take that out.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff, and then boom, they rehire him. It's a full redemption story. Guardians 3 comes out full power. It's an amazing movie, biggest selling movie of all time. Like maybe it's a grand scheme.
Because what controversy is worse for you, dealing with new Guardians Director 3 and saying what could have been with Guardians, or having James Gunn there and dealing with the tweets, but we still know what that movie is? I feel like now, the way this has gone, almost bringing James Gunn back is better. It'll bring people back. My official prediction is still no, they won't, just because them putting out that statement saying he doesn't correlate with our values, even though they're talking about making another fucking Pirates movie. He doesn't correlate with our values, and then to 3 weeks later be like, well, now he does, even though these are all tweets. I'm still gonna say no, because I feel like Disney might even want to bring him back, but they have to stay. They're Disney. We made this decision, and they got to stay stubborn about it. And stubbornness is not a great thing.
I think one thing to keep in mind is that you know, obviously these Marvel movies are still massive. They're making a shit ton of money. You have to wonder how long that's going to go if they're pumping out 3 movies a year. And I think, you know, going into whatever phase we're going into here, it's number 4.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time because it sounds like you know, Iron Man, Cap. Sounds like some people are going to be stepping down, stepping out. People who are
got
kind
a
of
Spider-Man situation to talk about next.
Yeah, that as well. You know, there's a lot of like talk about, okay, how is this going to transition when you have your figureheads, you have your faces who are leaving, and if you're starting out your new phase with a dodgy Guardians movie that's directed by someone else that looks like a DC movie that has like multiple hands in it.
Well, Zack Snyder,
and then
directing Guardians 3.
You know, we have a bunch of other like kind of new maybe characters coming out.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but we don't know how those are going to pan out and how those like, if those characters are going to be as iconic as our current ones are. So it's a tricky time where this next phase is going to be. It's going to be very different from the other ones.
In the middle of a merger as well.
Yeah,
so that's going on.
It's there's a lot going on, and I think having a really good Guardians 3 is going to be really important because that's, you know, continuing the legacy. It's building these characters up, maybe some more spin-offs, you know, and obviously Guardians was kind of revolutionary. I don't know. I'm not going to say revolutionary.
No, I think it was for the comic book movies because I feel like we talk about in our retro. There's a clear point of you can see the MCU before and after Guardians because I feel like after Guardians the MCU takes a much more comedic slang. What am I looking for? Slant. Like there's always comedy, especially in Iron Man, but like Thor was a lot more serious, Cap was a lot more serious. Where after Guardians, I felt like they look at Thor Ragnarok, like it is a different humor, but that's clearly pulling from that. Obviously, Infinity War, you have that. I think Spider-Man is very comedic, and even to its detriment, I think Doctor Strange is very comedic. So I feel like Guardians, Ant-Man, I feel like Guardians did open that door of like let's be the action comedy instead of just the you know just action.
Yeah, you're right. It really was. And I mean, I think both movies are so amazing in their own ways, and the second one was an evolution, but it also enhanced the first one. So, yeah, this third one, I mean, it's a trilogy, and you got around. You can't end the trilogy on a low note. That's not what you do. The second one, it can be lame. The first one, I mean, it has to get you intrigued, but the third one, it's got to close it out. It's got to make it exciting.
Like Thor Ragnarok.
It sucks when you have this Batman trilogy, which is going pretty well, and then it closes out with, oh, Batman! You know.
Wow, I just had to fire the shots in there. You know who else is trying to fire shots? Is Sony Marvel. So I'm going to read you a few experts from a big thing came out from excerpts. What did I say? Experts? Experts with excerpts. That's what they're there. What the hell? Where am I here? So this came out today. This is from Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter. Those are your 3. Like those are most time really good top guys. So there's same thing like James Gunn. There's multiple things to talk about. So this is the first one. If all goes according to plan, a long lead box office track indicates the film Venom will at least open well. Sony will quickly begin a series of sequels and standalone films featuring heroes and villains who populate the Spider-Man universe. Spider-Man has Sony's already announced the Morbius. With Jared Leto, they're doing a Silk movie, they're doing Jackpot Night Watch, so they're taking all these just very
crazy
characters. And then Craven, and this was in our news originally, so this is just a side thing. So Craven officially has a writer now. How do you feel about Craven? Because that was rumored about, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. How do you feel about just a Craven movie now? It has a writer, so they're full on going for that one, or they're trying to. It could crumble, but how do you feel about that?
I mean, my Craven experience doesn't run too deep just for me, despite the animated series that we, retro. I think he's better off as a side character, at least starting as a side character, just with how much depth he has or how interesting his story is, even down to his look and his style and all that.
He better have that fucking vest with the eyes and the...
It just seems like maybe a bit too goofy to do first on his own. So I don't think the best route for that character or for a long-term success, if they just want a one-off movie that's just really distinct and unique, has a weird style to it, and they just want it as that, fine, it could work. But I don't know. It's not how I would. If I was in Feige's shoes or whoever, Sony. Well, who's that? Do we have a name for that?
Well, let me pull.
Because if I was in this person's shoes, who we might have a name for, I don't think this is how I would plan a universe. And obviously, it's tricky when you only have a very limited amount of characters and you don't have you don't have the bread and butter, Spider-Man.
So here you go. Sony is deviating from Marvel and DC's models in another important respect. Marvel's films are overseen by Kevin Feige, and we're going to talk about later. Walter Hamada is the new guy who's running DC. So they have a new one person now running it. So I'll tell you about it later. But at Sony, there's not one uber boss. Pantech is in charge of getting the cinematic universe into shape, but various projects are more producer driven. So then they list all the producers with different ones. So there's not but there's not a main person doing it. And Feige, it's very unclear. There's another quote after I'll bring up of how much he has to do with this. But my whole thing is, maybe this isn't a hot take, but I think it will because people are excited about Fantastic Four and X-Men. I really wish we lived in a world right now where Marvel was buying Sony and Fox was still doing their own thing. You can go back to our first episode. Of course, I'm excited for Doom and Wolverine to be in the MCU, but I still would have been fine for them going another 5 to 10 years without this because we're getting things like Logan, we're getting stuff like Deadpool. Okay, Apocalypse wasn't the greatest, but still I feel like they could pick it up and try something. New Mutants look really cool. We still don't know. Last week they came out and said, hey, there's going to be no radar films on our Disney streaming app. So to me, like, Deadpool, they keep talking about it, and I'm excited, but I'm still worried about it. But I honestly kind of hate what they're doing with the Sony stuff because I don't want a Kraven Soul movie. Another one I'll show is they were making that Black and Silver, the Black Cat and Silver Sable movie. They announced that they're not doing that anymore. They're splitting them. They're going to make their own separate movies. Yeah. In a quote, we said, "We believe Black Cat is enough of her own character with a great backstory and canon material to draw to justify her own film." And then nothing is said about Silver Sable, so you're never going to get a Silver Sable movie. Black Cat, Kraven, and even Venom, which we'll find in October. To me, these are all characters I want to see in Spider-Man first, and then maybe go from. Like, I feel like this is almost like the DC approach again to the verse, where like, let's do a bunch of them and then do their solo films. Like, it's kind of worked out here and there, but not really. This, I don't feel like it, like, even Morbius, you gotta make some really good films then, because people don't know who the fuck Kraven is, they don't know who Morbius is, like our parents, they don't know who Silk is. Like, you don't even know who Silk is, because she's a girl that got bit by the same spider as Spider-Man, and then she got put into, like, a experimental basement, and she was a captive for 10 years, but then, like, her and Spider-Man have this weird attraction.
This basement?
Yeah, this one right here. They have a weird attraction because they've been bitten by the same spider, and they have, like, these massive sex scenes in the comic books. It's pretty wild. But, so what I want to talk to you about as far as Feige and whatnot. So,
Fiji, cut the check.
So here you go. And this is probably the most interesting thing. It's unlikely Venom will be rated R, the first rated R Sony Marvel movie. Blah, blah, blah. Some of the members' brain trust at Sony believe that the film should push varying limits of PG-13 without crossing over that higher rating. The feeling is this will give a studio the greater leeway for future installments that will feature Spider-Man, something Venom does not do. So, saying that Spider-Man is not there. Any Spider-Man movie would carry a PG-13 because the wall crawler is more family friendly. If Venom is too dark and gory, it might preclude other film matchups, not just with Peter Parker's alter ego, but other members of the extended MCU. So, that's really interesting because we know that Sony and Marvel made a deal for, they're doing 2 Spider-Man movies and the 3 Avenger movies. And then after Far From Home, the next Spider-Man movie, their deal's done. They've not said publicly what they're doing there. What do you take from that statement of them not making rated R to keep it open for potential crossover?
I think it actually does make a lot of sense, and if they are planning down the line to have Spider-Man, then it does make sense. You know, he is supposed to be more family friendly, or I shouldn't say he's supposed to be, but it fits better. You have a lot of kids. You know, how many kids dress up as Spider-Man for Halloween every year?
Tons.
You know, so
I don't worry you about the quality of the film though. That they might.
I would want Venom to be R-rated.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I could be disappointed if Venom was R-rated and then this same Venom is in a Spider-Man movie later, and then he's just like more cartoony and he's more like, it's more light and playful. And I feel like I could be disappointed with that, but still, who knows what's going to happen down the line? And that's the thing, if these are just all individual producers as opposed to one like kind of hive mind, then they have no idea like what kind of crossovers are going to be possible for their movies. So I think they should focus on one movie at a time, because I think Morbius and Venom, at least those two, like those should be R-rated, I think. Because what, are we gonna have a Morbius movie where he just says plasma the whole time and they don't mention the word
I'd
blood?
actually be down for it if they retcon blood. Well, it sounds like Venom's gonna PG-13. My problem is them, because this is the thing. This is like they're in some sort of like dating weird relationship because they're saying they want to leave it open for other MCU characters, not just Spider-Man. They can't make that call though. Like they're just assuming that MCU is gonna want to come play over here. There's a distinct reason why so far they've been saying Spider-Man's not in this movie, this and that. Because I don't think Feige wants to touch us with a 10-foot pole until they see the movie. Because I believe more and more as we get closer now, I think Venom is gonna be a bad movie. I worry that it could have been rated R, and if they made it and said, hey, you know what, we pushed it and it was just PG-13, great. But I don't like that now it's, hey, we have to make it PG-13 because we want Spider-Man in this, we want a chance Spider-Man can be in this. And this is my theory. I think, this is my prediction, so that contract's coming up, I think the only way they're going to re-sign a contract with allowing Spider-Man in the MCU is they're saying, we'll allow that, but we want an MCU character to appear in a Venom and Morbius, something like that. And I think there's a good chance that Marvel will not go for that, and they'll say, hey, we had a great time with Spider-Man, but he's gone now. I think there's a good chance that Spider-Man Far From Home could be the last MCU movie, and then I guess they bring Spider-Man into this Craven Morbius world, which is gonna feel like super weird. Of like, there's this established world of villains, and he's just coming into it. It's not like it's the other way around again. You know,
Spider-Man does, you know, initially when it hits your ear, kind of just feel like a big blow. Wow, they're losing Spider-Man, but you have to keep in mind that obviously they've recently they've gone through the woodwork and they've unlocked a shit ton more characters they can use. And you know, a whole other universe possibility just with X-Men alone. So
I agree with you. So because that's what I mean. So
they don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
He's had a story. Far From Home can be a send-off. It could even just be like a loose, like he's off somewhere doing good without him being dead or without him, you know, having like a set ending. And then who knows? Maybe down the line when, because the thing is, like, they have so much room now with all these other characters that they could always use Spider-Man again. But they could wait a long time before they
100%.
need him. I don't really think they'll ever need him necessarily. No. But
I think they
have a lot to work with. And I mean, even like before, like obviously it's gonna be a while before we get X-Men and the other stuff. They already have like a lot of plans and other characters and other storylines they want to bring in with the characters they already have and new characters they're gonna bring in. So
like Captain Marvel's popping off. Doctor Strange and Black Panther only have one film right now, so they're gonna get their sequels. That's like, I honestly think that, I think it all depends on Venom and how that does. I think if Venom bombs, I think Sony will make a deal with Spider-Man, but it will be a lesser deal, the same thing of back and forth. I think they're hoping Venom's great a success and they can have a bit more leverage, but I honestly do think that Far From Home could be the end of Spider-Man, because especially if there's, let's say there is a chance that Iron Man dies, his story is pretty tied to Tony, and I feel like...
I have a quick question. Far From Home, how far is that development?
They're shooting right now.
They're shooting right now.
It's coming. It's out July next year.
So, I guess obviously they have a lot more foresight than we do. So it's weird. How do you make that movie if you don't know if that's the last Spider-Man movie?
Well, I think
because they can't make it like any sort of cliffhanger. I mean, I guess none of the MCU movies are cliffhangers other than Infinity War.
Other than Homecoming, if you take the Aunt May reveal for Final Spider-Man, it's just he saves the day. I feel like Far From Home is just going to end that way. He saved the day, and they won't leave it in some sort of tying to the greater MCU.
Yeah,
Nick Fury's been confirmed for
this
this movie now.
Yeah.
So he is in Anne Maria Hill, so cool. But I think it's just going to end in a non-cliffhanger way. He'll save the day, he'll beat Mysterio, and I think that's... Because also when you point out they don't need him, I don't know if they need him, but he helped making Infinity War a big movie. Now, whatever Avengers 7 or 8 is, you'll have Fantastic Four, you'll have Wolverine, you'll have X-Men. Those will be the new characters that will be like, oh, we can't wait to see these people together, you know? And because Tom Holland's contract is like, I think for 6 movies, and some of those go past his deal. So clearly Sony has the option to make just a Sony movie, no Marvel, with him. So there's a chance we're going to see Tom Hardy and Tom Holland's Spider-Man one, and that's weird because then does that technically mean Venom?
Is a weird world.
Does that mean Venom technically takes place in the MCU? They can't refer to it at that point, but if he's with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, you know,
who's to say he isn't?
So lots of stuff happening there. I'm excited because that's July next year. I imagine we have to hear something about this contract soon, whether they are doing it or not. Maybe they're just a little busy with the Gunn situation, you know. So
that is certainly taking up most of their agenda on this day, I'm sure.
DC has made a few little announcements here and there. They're, I know
they always do.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have too much to add on this because you don't know too many of the characters. They're developing, so it's not announced, but they're developing a Supergirl movie. So very popular TV show that's happening, and then
with the same actress.
No, not at all. They don't do that stuff. And then Birds of Prey, which is Harley Quinn with a bunch of other heroes as its official villain. Again, I know you don't have much to add on this, but Black Mask, I've shown on the cast many times.
Great movie, Johnny Depp.
It's that character. No, he's just the sadistic crime boss. It's a guy who killed his own parents. He is one of my favorite Batman villains. I'm a little disappointed he's on a Batman movie, but I'm excited to see him in there, and I'm excited to see him live action. What I am going to throw at you though is we've talked about this with Taylor as far as like them making like smaller movies, little characters. Walter Hamada the past few weeks has been coming out, like he was hired months ago, but these are the movies he's doing now. And to give you some background, he's the guy that was originally in charge of running the horror division for New Line. So he was doing the Conjuring, the Annabelles, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And if you look at that, obviously not the same success as superhero movies, but there's a reason he's there. They're very successful.
They made it.
Yeah, and they're getting big. Like those Conjuring movies are huge. Annabelle's pumping them out. Like that division, they're doing like that Nun movie and Insidious. That division that he led was very successful. And this approach, it seems like he is almost going at kind of a few movies at a time. And I'm just excited to see what is in the future because obviously I love Black Mask, but I like that we now know who this Kevin Feige guy is. Because for a while DC had like 4 people and we didn't know who it was. There's one guy right now. And I'm excited to see what he does because I think Taylor brought up at Comic-Con how he didn't like that they didn't show anything else or any news. But I like that. It was just, hey, so Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and that's it. We're not going to tell you
focus on the movies.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I hope they're making moves, but Black Mask, I'm so excited to see Roman. I'm a big fan of that. So
good.
Yeah, and then the last thing I have
is he your K Rool? Would you put him on that level?
I think I would for a live action that's not been done as well. I think for a live action that has to be done good is still Doctor Doom. Okay. I need a good Doctor Doom, but I think so. He's up there. He's up there with maybe Moon Knight. He's one of those guys. He's just a guy that he is very sadistic. He tortures people. He has a big arc. Go read War Games. He has a big arc with Catwoman. He's one of those criminals that sometimes is a bit too violent. And I wonder would it be a bit too much to be a main guy. And it makes sense. Birds of Prey is going to be Harley Quinn teaming up with like a bunch of other superheroines, so I feel like they need just a small crime boss. I like that. Again, it's not Suicide Squad where they're going up against a huge witch or anything like that. So, and I really want his suit as well. I looked into it. It's hard to find a white suit with black zip stripes or zap stripes, so it's tough.
Zip zap.
Oh Jesus! I gotta see the Meg in an hour and a half. God. Finally,
I do not envy that.
At least the news that I have. So big controversy as far as the Academy Awards. They have announced. Yes. They've announced 3 things. They're keeping the telecast at 3 hours. I don't care. The Oscars could be 6 hours. I'd watch them. I don't get why people complain because they know when the big awards are. They're all at the end. Just go fucking watch the last 45 minutes of the show or watch the highlights. I've never understood why people complain about the length of the Oscars.
Sorry, they're saying keeping it the same length?
Yeah, it's 3 hours. Yeah, and everyone wants to be shorter. But for me, it's just like, it's always best director, best actor. They're all at the end of the show. You know what's happening. Just watch the last hour. It's insufferable. They've also announced that some categories are now going to be presented in the commercial breaks, and then they'll show a highlight reel of them later on, and that's probably tied with the third announcement that they are, I'm rambling so much, that they are officially making a category of best popular film. They have not clarified and said what the qualifications are. They said at a further date, but that is a thing. So obviously, Dylan, you're not a big Oscar watcher connoisseur.
I watched it for the first time I've seen it before, but I watched it from start to finish last year.
Nice. So, a little too long for you think?
No, I thought it was fine. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, I don't really watch any award shows, really. It's not really my...
You watched the Game Awards last year,
cup of tea, and the Game Awards was very much a big bust.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Oscars are, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's not really the kind of movies I've ever really watched. Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess... You
say that, but you watched the Best Picture winner last year, Shape of Water.
Well, I was about to say that, the last 2 years, the Best Picture are 2 movies that I really enjoyed, but most of the movies that are kind of up there are usually the ones that I'm not particularly into, because I'm not really like a film nerd so much, really. It's not really my... I mean, you watch a lot of movies growing up, and I don't know, I was playing video games or throwing sticks.
See,
at
this is
things,
why you should
going
never.
camping or something.
You should never. These guys, him and Ty specifically, always give me shit for not playing indie games. You're the exact same way with movies. You know, with movies you have like a oh, you see a couple of them, but you know that's what happens. You know.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you only have time for so much, and I've traditionally missed a lot of the greatest movies of all time. So whatever, that's just my life experience. I don't care. It's just how it is. Hey, whatever. Anyway,
best popular category.
yeah, I mean, as you linked in our chat and had said as well, like a lot of people are pretty chapped about this. I don't really, it doesn't bother me a whole lot, just because I don't have a huge emotional investment with the Oscars. Like I don't watch year to year. I mean, that being said, I probably will start watching it like every year now. I mean, at least I don't know if I'll watch from start to finish, but I'm interested enough. I'm in that world, so I'd like to be up to date on it, I guess. But yeah, it is a weird category because one, I'm just really excited to see what qualifies a movie to be popular. Is it sales? Is it like a score? Like I don't know. It seems strange to me, like to add that kind of category. I completely understand why they're doing it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much to say because it doesn't really have much of an impact on me. But fire away, Travis.
Okay, so
crack the neck.
This is the thing. So for years, and even last year, you could see I probably on every cast brought up how Logan needs to get nominated. I brought that since Logan happened. I was going hard for it. It got a best screenplay, but that's still for me was not good enough. I genuinely believe it was one of the best movies of the year. There can be 10 films nominated. This goes back so far because the reason there's now 10 reasons, even though for some reason mathematically it can't happen, it's always just 9, but I don't know, it's a weird system. It's with voters.
They announced it at 10 now?
Well, no, they've always done 10 since The Dark Knight. So this goes back a long way. After The Dark Knight happened, everyone's just, changed the genre, surpassed genre, blah, blah, blah. There was only 5 nominations that did not get that. there was a big outrage. So the next year they go, we're going to do 10 so we can open up the variety and get some new movies in there and whatnot. And now this is almost again where, and that never happened. Logan never got nominated. Some people thought Guardians should have been nominated. Lots of people, I don't agree, but lots of people thought Wonder Woman should have been nominated. And I kind of get it because Oscar nominations at times sometimes have to do with the film quality, but also kind of the zeitgeist of what's going on. Obviously, like female empowerment and women directing, like that was a big thing, so I could see the case for Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. This for me is, my expectations I guess my ranking will be pulled back a little bit if the Oscars come and they go, hey, Black Panther got a nomination for Best Popular and Best Picture. But for me, this is a way that, genre films, comic book films, stuff like that are starting to catch up and be more well made, and people can't really deny that, and people that they're getting well reviewed. It's not like the 2000s where you had your Daredevil or Spider-Man where it's like, oh yeah, but it's a little cheesy. Like, Black Panther covers some really big race issues. Logan is like a huge character study. Even Wonder Woman, you can make a case for it being like this, kind of, even though the third act is very comic booky, it's kind of like this like war piece and whatnot. It's an empowerment piece, stuff like that. So this is to me them almost giving out like and it's nothing new. People also have said this, like almost like a participation award of saying, I feel like they couldn't deny Black Panther had the critical success, the box office success, so it's going to be like a Get Out, like you kind of have to nominate it because it's so huge, but instead of giving it a Best Picture, they want to be like, no, like we got to make something else because we can't ruin the quality of, like we can't have a Shape of Water next to a Black Panther, stuff like that. And also to me the timing is like, they're adding more people, but for a while the Oscars was filled with like a bunch of old crusty white dudes, and
is that changed?
It is because they added over 900 members this year, so it's a lot more diverse, a lot more younger people.
What was their total?
There's thousands of people. Think about think about.
I thought it was a smaller.
No. Think about the Academy. They got producers, directors, writers, actors. Like if you've done something around the Academy, you can even people like Russell Brand. He's in there. Like just if you have a level of fame, you can get in there and vote and stuff like that. So. This is almost
who chooses what the nominees are.
I think like the of the members or the movies.
Like who picks like
what movies would be Best Picture?
Or like So does everyone just pick like best pick? Do they just pick any movie that came out that year, or do they have to pick from a certain set?
My understanding is I can't remember how they get nominated, but I think it is the most popular as far as what's in there the most, like what people have put down.
But they can put anything they want.
I believe so, yeah. Okay. And then when you actually vote for the winner,
so someone can put the Meg if they want.
Someone could put the Meg. Okay. Well, definitely now they could put the Meg. And then if you really wanted, and then to vote for the winner instead of voting for. Like this is the one you hand in. You rank the movies 1 out of 9 or 1 out of 10, and that's how they find the average and whatever the highest, whatnot. Okay. So my thing is, I just feel like, and this to me is a terrible year to do it because this is a movie that's pretty much 90% of black cast, black crew, black director, and a couple of years ago when we started this cast, they had that controversy of every single actor main nomination was a white guy or a white girl. And I still believe it should be on the quality of the film and the actor, but it felt like a little off. And this to me again, it's like you have this really big African American film coming up, and then it's like now we're gonna make this category that's the best popular. And I think best popular will be, my prediction is it's gonna be movies that make over $500 million or more. That'll be my prediction. I think it's gonna be based on budget because some people brought like, well, look at Blade Runner. It's huge budget. Well received, but it didn't do well at the box office. But would you count that as a popular movie? I think it'll be over the 500 million mark. And I don't know. I just feel like this award will be a joke for a while. And to me, it caps this as, like I said, if they can go Black Panther in this category and the other one, then I'll say, okay, that's fine. But my worry is now things like a Logan, this and that. To me, it would have been an honor. I'm someone that loves the Oscars. I've watched them every year since 2006. To me, films getting higher up there, like when Inception got nominated, to me that was huge because it's like, oh, it's a sci-fi movie, it's kind of in that geeky realm, to me it's like we've accomplished something. We're showing genre films aren't in this box like, oh, they're just like the young guys or they're just like the geeks, and that's what I feel like this is doing. I feel like it's pushing them off to the side and just being like, oh, like you now have a level now. You can only get to the best popular film, so we'll have to see this year, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. And they'll be like, oh, well, we gave it an Oscar, but I feel like it ruins a lot of the prestige of the Academy Awards big time. To me, it's just like, I feel like people like a Logan striving to get in that canon, to be, you're there with every single film of the year, but now it's like, no, you're off here to the side. Like it's a participation award. It's like the kids' table. And it's super disappointing for me as like a guy who wants to work in film, a guy who loves film, for that category to exist, because it, to me, just caps it and it shows, yeah, genre can only be so good. And it's almost like I said, older members of the Academy felt it coming. There's some weird controversy that apparently ABC and Disney push for this, showing how Disney gets more popular. And I also don't like that, because if that's their way of trying to get an Oscar, again, that defeats the point of, you should want your film to stand alone and be, hey, our film's so good it got in that 10, not hey, you should have a category where Black Panther could get in there and whatnot. Yeah. And I'll be interested to see who gets nominated. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm completely against this decision. And I'm also against it because it's pushing other awards into the commercials, and I hate that. I know that's the thing. They're not doing it for film, they're doing it to try and get ratings, because ratings have been down a few years. So, oh, what if Infinity War gets nominated, and then you'll have Ryan Reynolds at the Oscars and all this. Like, they're hoping younger people will tune in. I don't know, get a younger host, get some more relevant, do something better. But it sucks that, yeah, not everyone wants to see best short form film, but those people worked hard, and I want to see them get up there and do their thing. And now the fact that they're, like, that's not for sure, but it's going to be awards like that, or short film, or best short animated, or best foreign documentary. Those ones that people go, it's a bathroom break, they're going to get put in the fucking commercial break for fucking, like, Infinity War. And I love Infinity War, I love Black Panther, but Infinity War and Black Panther should be good enough to be up in the big kids table. And I don't know, I'm so not a fan of any of this. And the problem is with the film, like, geek and lover community, this award for a while is going to be, I don't know if it's ever going to have the prestige as the other ones. Like, it's going to be a joke for a while. And I don't even know, I guess you'd want to win it because you're winning an Oscar, but for this first few years, I feel like there's just going to be this underlining, like, you didn't really, like, you won an Oscar that was created just for your genre. Because what does that mean? Like, do we just get the best Canadian actors, the best, like, it's weird. The only one I'm fine with is animated. I kind of get that because it's this whole other spectrum. But popular, it's like, that also means, so that means Return of the King's not a popular movie. That means Avatar is not a popular movie. That means Inception wasn't a popular movie. Like, yeah. Even stuff like Shape of Water. I'd say that was a popular movie. People that not just on the podcast saw, but now it's almost in a backhand way downgrading the nominations of like, oh, these are the nice artsy films, but they're not popular movies. People don't like these movies, but these are like, I don't know who wins this other than they're hoping to get ratings, and I honestly don't think it's going to work that much. I don't think the nerd community that wasn't tuning in Oscars is not going to now. They'll check a tweet about it, but I don't think they're going to go out of their way. Like you said, you did, but you did watch it last year, so you're kind of more in the space now, so you're a bit more interested in it. I just feel like if you're not doing this podcast and they announce this category, I don't think like, this is now I'm going to watch the Oscars, you know? Because it's just, I don't know, not a fan, very disappointed all around. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a weird time for me because usually the things I'm into are not like the popular things, but obviously these comic book movies are huge and I like them usually.
Yeah.
Or I like talking about them somewhat. Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think pretty much every point you made is good. So nice. Well said.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
I agree that it's super lame that these like smaller categories decide world and what has shaped like that's not like obviously you look like Netflix, like there's a lot of different types of things on there, right? It's not just movies, like there's a lot more in this medium than just like box office hits and movies. So
yeah, and that same thing. So also too, like Netflix, how if there's a great really popular movie like a Stranger Things of Netflix, how would that get nominated? Because obviously with Best Picture they just nominate in their opinion quality, right? If it's say hey by box office, that means every streaming device, Hulu, Amazon, all these people that are making films. Next year on Netflix, there's a Martin Scorsese directed film with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. They're all coming back to make this mob movie. What if that's outstanding? And okay, maybe it's the Best Picture. But I mean, like, how do you quantify? And is that the way
it doesn't feel like it fits the Oscar, like for what the Oscars should be, because like the Black Panther is already, in my mind, won like best popular film in many ways because for what it is broken records, and that's like. That is
it's the biggest domestic movie. It's still
you
in
might
North
not get
America.
A stupid little golden trophy, but like you got a lot of gold in the bank account. So
in North America, it's a bigger movie than Infinity War, which is crazy. Yeah. But it's happened, and that's popular. You kind of win that with the box office, you know. And I think awards should be something that's past that. But you have any other news you want to show?
Well, actually, I have a quick question. Do you think they'll like? Because a lot of people are mad about this. Do you think there's any chance that they undo this?
I think they do it one. I think they
people didn't want this.
I think they do it 1 year. It doesn't go well, and the next year it's gone. I think they'll try to experiment with it, and when they say that, I think there won't be a big rating spike. And I think when they see that, they'll go, oh, you know, this was kind of a mistake. I think that they'll do that. They'll retcon. Because some categories...
That sucks for whoever ends up winning that award. Then it's just like...
It's going to be Black Panther, 100%. I feel like it will be Black Panther. And I'm going to be... They better nominate Best Picture as well. There's 10 they could do in there. I don't know how the stats are. Apparently it's because the number of Academy Award members they have in the voting, you couldn't actually get to 10. But you can nominate 10. It's this weird thing. There's a article of how the voting works. So, But yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, this was a great episode. I'm cutting it short. I'm throwing it. You know, if you want the links, go down below because I got to prepare and I got to go see the fucking Meg. So, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with a Meg review, me and Taylor, a Slender Man review of me, Dylan, and maybe the elusive Kirkland Patzer might be joining us. And then next week, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe a newscast, maybe something funky. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, thank you very much for tuning in, and we promise you will not be boring.
Thank you. Bye.